Okay, we're good to go. Sorry. Hey guys, we are live. Thank you so much for joining us. Sorry about the little delay there, guys. We really appreciate your patience. We are one man down at the moment. As you can see, Luke is on the late train today, so hopefully he'll join us at some point. But do not fear, we have got a legend who is going to fill that gap for the meantime. It's great to have this guy back on the channel. Very much looking forward to chatting with him, as I've chatted many times from the chats on other channels, Stubbs Gaming's channel mostly. And yeah, it's fantastic to have him back on the channel today. We've got a packed show, so I'm ready to tuck into it. And how are you doing, VJ?
I'm really well, thanks, Indy, and I really appreciate being invited back onto your show.
Well, no, it's awesome to have you back, my friend. It's been too long, and yeah, it's always great to have you on the channel, buddy, with your vast knowledge, and you know, I love the passion for Silk Song as well, as you know. So I'm sure that will go ahead. Sorry.
No, I think this is whenever I come onto your show, I kind of feel, okay, this is where I'm going to be really found out and be publicly embarrassed due to the limitation of my indie game knowledge. So I'm kind of just like clenching my fists here and sweating away.
No, you'll be all good. Don't you worry. I know you've been playing a lot of AAAs lately, but it's all good. I know you've got a passion for an indie as well, and yeah, it's awesome to have you back on, buddy. Very fun show to do today. This one is one of my favorite ones to do, you know, talking about all the exciting times we have ahead of us in the next few weeks, which is very cool. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on and being part of this, buddy, today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
No, thank you, sir. We've got some great people coming through in the chat. As I say, Luke will be joining us in a bit, but shout out to you legends who are joining us early in the chat. Thank you very much for being here. Stubbs Gaming, G Ray, great to see you in. Don't think I've seen you before, so thank you for joining us. UK, Dazarus in the house, great to see you, buddy. Paul S back in again once again for your kind support. It's great to see you again, Paul. Thank you for coming back through. Scott is on the holiday train right now, so of course we're missing Scott too, by the way. You probably noticed that. Shout out to my brother Scott, who's heading off on his honeymoon. Goodness. So yeah, I hope you have an amazing time, buddy, and we will miss you, but you know, obviously have an amazing time, bud. Web Dave in the house as well. Thank you very much for coming by, my friend. So yeah, looking forward to this one. The Lord of Rutland is in the house, as VJ mentioned. But yeah, this one's going to be a fun one, diving into some fun predictions, you know, out there sort of predictions maybe, but also just basically going through what's going to be coming up over the next few weeks. Like I say, there's some great showcases. Obviously, we've got the big one with Xbox coming up. Very much excited for that. And they do bring some great indie goodness as well. So we'll go over all kind of what we've seen from that in previous times, maybe go over a bit of last year's sort of show, what they did, and talk about what we're hoping to see from this show, from this year's one. But we'll also go over some of the other showcases like the Devolver Direct, Future Games Show, the Day of the Devs. There's many coming our way for us to soak up and enjoy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to basically jumping into all of that. But yeah, before we jump into any of that showcase goodness, let's just have a little chat with VJ and see how he's been doing. How you've been enjoying some good gaming lately, buddy? Any games you've been playing in particular and enjoying?
It'll be really boring here, Indy.
No, you're all good.
The whole chat to sleep. I kind of you know, speak to you and a couple of others in the community, and I always kind of either go with something that has historically been dependent in terms of an intellectual property, or something that's been quietly recommended, not just by, hey, you should play this, you know, via a tweet, but someone who, you know, if I was speaking to someone and said, listen, you know what, just kind of give this a little go, or a little nudge. So Hollow Knight, obviously, via yourself, and I think there's been plenty others, but that's the one that sticks out. But and I normally only play one game at a time. That's me. I hate sort of, I'm just grown up, like, just a habit. It's not that I hate it, it's just a force of habit. But right now I'm kind of playing Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and
nice.
in parallel I'm playing I have no idea why, but I'm playing MechWarrior 5 and I'm about 300 hours in on that.
Lovely. No, that's a fair few hours. That's impressive going. Love that.
It's not like fantastic in any particular category, but it's just one of those games that's greater than the sum of its parts, and it's a phenomenal, underrated title in Game Pass. And Removable Sanity put me onto that.
Oh, cool, nice. So had you not checked it out before that, or is it something you've went back to? Or
I saw, you see the icons right on the screen, right? For all the games. When you go through Game Pass, and MechWarrior is the one that gets the least love usually, because it's just like MW5, and it's like, okay, is that somewhere in the Midwest or somewhere up north in England, and postcode wise, and it's a robot on the front, which is decent, but it's no poster of Transformers, if that makes sense, right? In terms of capturing your eye. And then you see it here and there, obviously on Twitter, and the menus look so sort of complex and complicated and intricate, and it's like, oh my goodness, if I play that game, I'm probably going to give myself a headache. Just give me some more Hollow Knight instead. But, but
I know what you mean.
I nearly went bankrupt in about 5 hours, and that would have been the end of me. But luckily, it's got a save and load system that does a couple of auto saves for you. So I managed to go back one, and the rest is history.
Nice. No, good stuff. I'm glad you're enjoying. And yeah, thanks for feedback. Let us know about the balance of our two audios, because we've got a bit of different sounds coming through. So hopefully they're just balanced so they're easy to listen to. We don't want one being really loud, one being like quieter. So yeah, thanks for letting us know. If anyone else got any thoughts on the balance, let us know. But yeah, good stuff, buddy. I'm glad to hear you've been enjoying those games for sure. Obviously Zelda's been huge in amongst the gaming community. So yeah, good stuff. And it's been living up to your hopes and dreams, has it, the Zelda goodness? Yeah,
it's when the sort of the noise broke out about it being still on an older 6 or 10-year-old in terms of technology, right? Because obviously the system came out 6 years ago, and the tech that they launched at the time was already a few years old. And then obviously there was hoo-ha about 720, 1080, 30 frames, 60 frames, and I don't really pay any attention to that, but for me, yeah, it's very hard to sort of explain it to you in a minute, but just basically to say to you is like, I think I was speaking to Luke about this. I said, if you know about Elden Ring, obviously, right, Indy?
Of course, yeah. Of course.
Yeah. So if Elden Ring, how much heap has been praised on that game. And I think I gave an analogy, and I think Luke still agrees with it. But I said, if Elden Ring is a hard whiskey, this is a bubbly, sparkling champagne.
Fair enough.
both phenomenal games and worthy of Game of the Year. But that's just my opinion. But I was going to ask what you're playing.
What I'm playing? Good question. So, I mean, what was the last thing I finished off? Planet of Lana. No mention of Edith Finch, I'm afraid, no, for stuff. But the last thing I finished off was Planet of Lana, and then I've been working quite stringently along this last week. But yeah, Planet of Lana, I finished that off. It's absolutely beautiful game. Definitely recommend checking that out. You've probably seen my thoughts knocking about around on Twitter and on other shows we've done of Planet of Lana. But yeah, if you haven't checked that out already, you must play Planet of Lana. It's just a nice, short and concise, beautifully crafted experience, really. Check out Joe. Shout out to Joe in the chat. He's got a review, by the way, over on lordsofgaming.net if you want a written review on it. But yeah, it's a great game, and one of those ones where it's a bit like Inside. It's short and sweet. It's a bit of a different vibe to it with the art style and stuff. It's more like Studio Ghibli-esque. But yeah, the actual game is amazing. It gets straight to the point, and it takes you on a wonderful journey spanning different locations, and it's a beautiful sci-fi kind of emotionally driven adventure. I highly recommend it. In Game Pass as well. Yeah.
Sorry, Indy, I was going to say, when you say it's a short, tight game, obviously that's open to interpretation. So is there some sort of range of hours you could put on that?
Yeah, so the amount of time it takes, about 5 hours probably to finish the game. Yeah.
Okay, so if your stub's about 3 weeks.
Probably, yeah. Or never.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pass the title screen.
I think he's playing it actually. I can find out how far he's got. How are you doing, Stubbs, on it? You've played it, haven't you, Planet of Lana? I think we were talking about actually. I think he was stuck actually. Sorry to say. You got this, Stubbs, and we believe in you. But yeah, it's puzzle based and stuff like that, but the story is excellent, and it's nothing too challenging. That's not me rubbing it in Stubbs' wrist. It's a very, they don't want it to come in the way of the actual game flow. I think they aim to make it not too challenging, but puzzles where it's just, gives you something to keep you engaged, basically. But yeah, definitely recommended. But yeah, I think we should probably get cracking with some of the topics from today, because we've got a lot to get through. Like I say, shout out to you guys who are coming in. Thank you very much for being here. Joe in the house, as I say, great guy. Back from the dead coming through as well, saying a couple of indie games he's enjoyed recently are Omega Crafter and Ghost Lore. Lovely, good stuff. Good to hear. Doing well, my friend, like that. It's good to see you in. We've also got Thimba in the house and the legend, Mr. Domez, back in as well. Thank you very much for coming by, guys. Great to see all you guys in. And yeah, let us know what you've been playing, and let us know what you're excited for in these upcoming showcases from the Xbox Showcase, Devolver, all that good stuff. But let's flick over actually right now to dive into a bit of what we have got coming, because that is essentially what I'm going on about right now. So on the screen, you'll see some of these showcases that we got to look forward to. It's not all about the Xbox Showcase, although I am extremely excited for that one, especially probably, but I'm definitely excited for some Devolver goodness again. They always bring the goods, Devolver, and they've got their showcase coming up as well, and there's so many games that could be coming up in that, Skate Story. We could even see like well, we'll go into that in a minute. What we'll do is we'll give a bit of a flavour of what's going on. But like I say, we've got Tribeca coming up. I believe me and VJ have done a live reaction of that before, which was fun. We've got Future Game Show. We've got the PC Gaming Show. We have got Guerrilla Collective as well. Everything that's flashing by your very eyes right now, we've got coming up. I'm very much excited to sort of dive into all of it. How about yourself, VJ? Is it just the Xbox Showcase you've got your eyes set on, or do you like soaking up some of the other shows as well?
Yeah, obviously, these shows is where, publishers and developers and creators, it's a sort of very concentrated mix at this specific time of year, and I think it excites and brings out everyone's imagination. And so I guess it's yes, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I'm not really sure what to expect this year, and I think that there's some sort of, there's a level of comfort in that. So, and most well, not most years, but the last few years, couple of years, as you mentioned, I've either been on a show with you, and we've been sort of really excited to see what's on show at the various events. But that there's always stuff being shown throughout the whole year. Absolutely. So you just never know when something's going to catch your eye. I mean, like Planet of Lana, right?
Yeah.
So, but in essence, yeah, I'm kind of really looking forward to what's occurring, shall we say?
Definitely. So, yeah. That's some great stuff. I think, actually, funnily enough, I did think it would be a little bit different this year, but the way they've actually structured all of the sort of Summer Game Fest stuff, it seems to be very close to what they've done last year, as in structurally. I don't know what the actual game showcases will bring, especially with Xbox. It may be quite a bit of a change, which we'll get into in a minute, with regards to 12 months. Gate, basically. But yeah, we'll talk into that in a second. But yeah, like the actual shows, they all seem to be on the same day and everything. You've got like the Summer Game Fest followed by the Day of the Devs on the 8th, excuse me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Day of the Devs especially, but Summer Game Fest sometimes brings some cool indies as well. Like I think it actually brought Replaced last year to the show, and Planet of Lana potentially on that one as well. But yeah, Day of the Devs obviously is Double Fine and I Am 8-Bit's collaboration that they've been doing for years to bring indie games to the forefront in an awesome, concise showcase. The Day of the Dev showcase is always a great one to check out, so I'll be looking forward to doing that. We will be doing live reactions on this channel, by the way, guys, so keep an eye out for that good stuff. Looking forward to watching some of these with you guys. But yeah, so those ones on that day, and then on that same day, it's the same as last year, it'll be the Devolver show all in one day, so we've got some serious action on that day, you know what I'm saying? So that'll be 11 p.m. in the UK, and whatever that counts back into PST quite a while back. What was the difference in 8 hours, is it?
That would be if it's 11 p.m. That would be 3
p.m.
p.m. here.
That's it. That sounds it's on the screen. Actually, just went past in it. So yeah, that's it. That was the same time exactly last year. So yeah, again, they're keeping it quite tight to the same structure as last year, which is interesting to see. But yeah, lots to dive into on showcase wise, and then you've got obviously on the 9th you've got the Tribeca, on the 10th you've got the Future Games show, and some other on the 10th as well, I believe. I think you've got something else on the 10th. I can't escape me now. But the 11th, of course, is the big one for the Xbox showcase, followed by the PC gaming show, which again is exactly the same sort of layout as previous years. But yeah, no, it's good to see. And yeah, Devolver once again bringing their kooky sort of presentation, no doubt, with just the amazing games they bring, but also presented in such a unique way, which I always love. Even you can see from their thing that's coming up on the screen right now, the promotional sort of image. It's so funny. You look at it and you think, what is this? And then you see Devolver in the top corner in small writing. It's not even the biggest part of the actual image. You know what I mean? It's so funny the way they do it so differently against the grain, don't they? But yeah, you a fan of Devolver and how they work, VJ?
Yeah, there's a lightness to it, right? To the way they approach things. It's not heavy-handed. It's not. How can I put it? They don't need to stamp their authority. Their content actually does the talking compared to many other publishers. I don't know. I mean, you know them a lot better than I do.
Yeah.
But when you don't have to draw attention to who you actually are, then you're doing something right. That you're creating games and you're affecting change in an industry in the right way, rather than being heavy-handed and dominant and trying to make sure that you're not overstating or overimposing yourself on people's minds, and like a lot of companies do right. And so there's a pun in there somewhere, but I'll figure it out. But just going back to something you said, I think just the way you spoke about all the events and the way that they're lined up, it seems that you're quite pleased with the way that the events or the event the procession of events is about to occur, right? All sort of not staggered all either side of the main event. Say, if you want to assume the Xbox is the main event, everyone think falling either side. It's all very structured and it's concurrent. And one precedes the other in a good way. And but one thing we do know for sure is that you won't be sleeping, will you, for those 3 days?
Exactly. Yeah.
You'll be live streaming like non-stop.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Here's the preview show. Here's the actual event. Here's the post show. And here's our thoughts after the post show.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, are you sort of saying, do I like the way it's sort of set out like that, as in one big sort of like what do you call it?
Homogenistically, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, you just take it all in at once, don't you? And it's not spread out over the month or whatever, is it, kind of thing. I do quite like that.
You're more likely to miss it, right, if it's done like that, because what date is this? What date is that? Am I going to be free that day? Okay, look, you know what? Here it is a concentration. I know it can be tough. It's probably like attending a real show for 3 days on the trot, but I mean, regardless, can't really complain too much, because we're going to see lots of stuff we're either expecting, lots of new stuff. But the most important thing for me personally is that I know that there'll be 2 to 3 games there that I will walk away with completely enamored with, and that will suffice me for the rest of the year. And it's been many years prior to this current generation, when I say the last 5 to 10 years, when that wasn't afforded gamers. So we live in very remarkable and pleasant times.
Most definitely. It is interesting. Like, maybe spreading them out would be cool, but it does give you the festival atmosphere. I quite like that sort of time when it's just sort of like all games showcase season, if you know what I mean. That sort of that vibe. I do like that about it, and I quite like it the way they do it. But the thing with the Future Games and people like that, they do this one and they do other times throughout the year as well. So they do have the ones where it's separated and stuff.
Would you have done something different, or are you happy with the structure of events?
I'm happy with it as it is, but like, like I say, I like it when there is
You
other
just need to- you
showcase.
should have been. You
Sorry.
should just be the new Jeff Keighley, in my opinion.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I mean, I do quite like the all-in-one sort of thing. It does make it very tricky though to cover all of it, and which is going to be completely out of the possibility this time for myself. But I'm going to cover a good chunk, and I've tried to arrange it so I can cover, the main stuff that I want to cover really. But yeah, it means that a few things will get missed out, if you know what I mean. But for me, the most excited, I mean, we can definitely say, I'll be interested to find out for yourself. Like Tribeca always give you the list of games ahead of time, which maybe not quite as excited for as last year's list from them, but still very excited to see what they've got. Again, it's that more art house sort of approach again with them. They are trying to sort of show off games which are outside the box and stuff like that, which is really cool. But yeah, definitely for me, it's probably I'm most excited for the Xbox Showcase and the Devolver. They're my top two, but Future Game Show is looking really hot this year as well, with Pacific Drive on the agenda. But sorry, you go ahead. Yeah.
No, so because you're in the know, and I was just going to ask you, do you think that there is any sort of, can you surmise any reasons as to why the Tribeca Games Festival lineup isn't as dominant as, say, the last year or the year, perhaps even the year before that? Can you see any reasons why? Looking into your little crystal ball, large crystal ball.
Well, it's all just down to
Footballs,
basically personal taste. I would say at the end, there's no reason why potentially that it's not a stronger lineup. I mean, to be honest, they've got a good lineup there, but it's just maybe not as appealing to me as the ones I'm looking for. So they have got, I'll let you know guys, what they've actually got coming, which is Stray Gods, Goodbye Volcano, Nightscape, so Goodbye Volcano High, sorry, that, Nightscape, Highland Song. That's definitely the one I'm most excited for. And they've also got The Expanse, which is the Telltale game. I don't know if you've seen that one. Have you seen the Telltale game, the new one that's coming, The Expanse, which looks very cool, actually. It's like in space, obviously Telltale, very story-driven, very cool-looking game.
That's not based on the TV show, is it, Indy?
I don't know. I've not heard of the
Expanse.
The Expanse TV show, so I'm not sure.
There's quite a few seasons in.
Oh, okay. Maybe it is. Maybe it will be.
I don't know, because it was Telltale. Are they no? Sorry, I probably got it wrong way around. But yeah, it definitely is a TV show.
Yeah, so it's Deck 9 is the people who developed that now, so not Telltale, the people, because they took it over, didn't they, I think. But yeah, it's basically a Telltale series, that's what it's called. That is Despelate, whatever that means. I've not seen that game before. Chance of Senar. So maybe it's just the fact that I've not got acquainted with some of these games, and when you look at a list, you see, oh yeah, look, that's on there, but maybe some which I don't know. So it could be that I come out the other side of the Tribeca feeling really excited that there's some new games that I found out about, which is always a good thing. So yeah, it's just the fact that last year when I looked at it, there was, can you remember what was on last year's agenda on Tribeca? I know that they had...
I'm not even sure what I had for breakfast yesterday.
I can remember they had oh gosh, what did they have? They had As Dusk Falls on there for sure. Let me look this up for us.
When you mentioned that, when you get through the other end of the show, and I thought, yeah, Indy, a few pints heavier loaded up with beer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, last year they had Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course. They had Immortality, which was one of my favourite games of the year whenever I got to play it in the end, which I can't remember what that was. But yeah, Immortality, amazing. As Dusk Falls, as I just mentioned. And when this loads, I will have the rest of them. Oh my God, what's going on? You've thrown a curveball to me. Oh, here we go. I had American Arcadia as well, and Plague's Tale Requiem. And Oxenfree 2. So you can see that is an extremely strong lineup last year. That's why I say that, basically. This year, like I say, you might come out the other end of it feeling even, super positive that there's some new games which actually I didn't realise were going to be amazing, and they are, if you see what I mean.
If there's anyone positive in this community, it's you, Indy.
Well, I mean, it's all natural. I can't help that I love games. That's the thing. I got some stick for being positive the other day on one of my reviews. So if that person's listening, which they probably aren't because they're blocked now. But yeah, I mean, I speak from the heart. I don't. If I don't like something, you will know about it. Believe me. But I just happen to love a lot of
Yeah,
games.
but the thing is, even if you don't like something, you can be pragmatic and polite about it, right? You don't need
Yeah,
to, be miserable and repudiate everything to the nth degree, and just to get your point across, that's not necessary.
exactly. Yeah, 100%.
So basically, telling me that you block somebody, nothing to do with their opinion, it's just that they're a miserable sod.
Well, yeah, first, and then ended up. Oh, I don't really want to talk about this on the show, but I ended up having quite a lengthy conversation. I think it came to it's in terms of it being they were actually sort of backtracked a little bit and said I was a bit harsh at first, so it kind of worked out already. The end. But anyway,
Cool.
it's
But
all
they're still
good.
blocked.
Yeah, it still kept the block on. Yeah.
Great conversation.
Well, people come in a bit like brazenly sometimes. You know what I mean? When it's just like all you're trying to do is share your opinion on some games and spread the love for these smaller games. That's surely a good cause. But yeah, no, it's all good. Shout out to Web Dave and a friendly pest coming through. Thank you very much for being here. And Lady Foxfire in the house. Great to see you. I don't know if I shouted you out a minute ago, but definitely worth another shout, even if I did. And she's saying Wholesome Direct. I definitely missed that off the shout outs a minute ago. So yeah, Wholesome Direct and Guerrilla Collective as well. Definitely two other great showcases to look out for. We did those reactions last year. I'm not going to have time to fit in the Guerrilla Collective this year because it's on a day where I can't. And it's, just like I say, I've not got quite as much time as I did last year. I think I might have even booked time off last time. But yeah, this time I'm going to be squeezing it in a bit more tactically. That sounds dodgy, I know, apologies. But it's about the showcases that I'm referring to. And yeah, we're going to be spreading the love for them and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Please don't change to the selective indie gamer.
Yeah. Definitely good stuff. But yeah, no, so if you guys haven't heard of some of these showcases like the Future Games Show, then I highly recommend you checking them out. There are some great games shown off. Like I say, we will be covering Future Games Show on the channel. We'll be covering the Devolver Showcase for sure. That's going to be a fun one. It's always brilliant. I mean, last year the Devolver Showcase brought the Plucky Squire to everyone's, it's before everyone, and delighted everybody as it just came on. Like, we had Joe from Song of Iron, the developer of that, watching that with us on the live reaction last time, and I think we had Ains as well from Season Gaming, and everyone was just so blown away by it. But a Plucky Squire is coming this year. We've had a recent trailer at the PlayStation Showcase, so great to see a Plucky Squire is still on track for a 2023 release, so maybe even we get a release date at the Devolver show. But there's so many that are slated for 2023 from Devolver coming. We've got Gumbrella. We've got, what else have we got on my little cheeky list that I noted down? Skate Story is definitely one I'm looking forward to. So potentially Skate Story release date this year. That's one of my predictions, and hopes and dreams as well, for sure, from Devolver. But yeah, is there anything else you want to mention about the showcases as a whole before we sort of dive into maybe a bit more meatier chat? VJ, anything you wanted to mention about all these showcases?
No, I as I say, Indy, and I often say on most of the shows, so it's a risk of repeating myself. We just live in really pleasant times. We, compared to back to decades, it's just a fantastic time to be a gamer. And I know we say it every year, but every year and inch by inch, or as you say, depending on what content pleases you, we make huge strides. Well, not
Yeah.
we, but I guess we are part of the community, so we do make
Yeah.
huge strides in the industry in terms of the content that's available and expanding people's tastes, and people not just assuming it's the games industry. And I remember in the 70s and 80s, when the games industry suffered a little crash.
Yeah.
At that time, we had like dedicated consoles versus systems where you could plug in and plug out, plug in and play cartridges. People were saying, "Oh, the games industry is a fad," and so on and so forth. But look where we are now. So, and those were executives at the time. Yeah, I take what everybody says with a pinch of salt, and at the end of the time, I trust my eyes
Yeah.
and what keeps me engaged. But as I say, there's just going to be so much content, and when you ask that question, so many games come to mind. It's probably just best to observe and just keep quiet and enjoy.
Observe and enjoy. Yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, so much to look forward to for sure. Yeah, it's going to be a ton of content coming our way of awesome games. So yeah, we can't really complain. It's an amazing time to be a gamer, and yeah, so much to look forward to. But we will be diving a little bit deeper now into, maybe some analysis, well, not analysis, of just chat of what we thought happened last time on maybe the Xbox show, and then what we're hoping maybe to see for this time, and anything we're specifically hoping as well. I'd be definitely interested to hear your thoughts on that. Just shout out to Marvelero. Let's go with that. Thank you very much for coming by. Sorry about me butchering your name. But yeah, let's move this over to the next screen, where what I've done is I've kind of prepared a little cheeky video from last year's sort of, what do we call it? Sort of, how do we call it? I can't think. But it's basically the video they put out after the actual Xbox showcase, a sort of like highlight show they put out for a 3 or 4 or 5 minute video, I think, something like that, of all of the things that happened at the Xbox showcase last time. So that's what you're seeing right now, just as a way of giving you a little reminder of all the things that were shown in a very short, concise way. But yeah, it kind of gives us a little way of looking back to think about what they did last time on the Xbox showcase, and maybe what we're thinking they could do differently, and maybe, or if we thought it was amazing, obviously just stick with the same, or maybe, what will happen this time. But I'm really, really keen to hear what VJ thinks about, last time they did it all around what's coming in the next 12 months and all that. I have got a graphic as well if you want the exact list of games, if you want to check that out in a minute. But yeah, what do you think of it? Last time they did the next 12 months, all these games are coming. Not all of them did make it, of course, including our Silk Song didn't make it. But yeah, what did you think of that format, and what do you think about how it will happen this time, and what changes they might need to make?
You might have to chime in here, Indy, because my memory is not as great as it used to be. But I mean, I think I really enjoyed last year's show, but I mean, just to I kind of like disappeared off the face of the earth for a little while because I was quite unwell around that time as well.
Sorry
I don't even recall if I actually completely watched it through, but
okay.
it was what I did catch of it was really, really good. And obviously, Silk Song was there, but I was in no shape or way to tackle that game at that time. But I mean, now that it's been such a long time since I played Hollow Knight or anything similar to it. That's obvious. Sorry, Silk Song's obviously at the forefront of my mind because I'm kind of ready for it. But in terms of this showcase that we're seeing now, and the previous one, I think where Halo was shown prior to its launch, if I got that right, was really good as well. I think it's just a case of, look, video games are very difficult to make, and when you're sort of endeavoring to make an indie game or a AAA game, which I think personal stories versus a how can I put it, a collection of people that are passionate about creating something quite larger than themselves, then it's always going to be a tough endeavor. So I don't want to overly criticize or say that these games should have hit and so in the last 12 months, but as long as they're sort of circa 12 months, then that's fine, unless the developer comes out like a Team Cherry did and say, look guys, well, they didn't say that, it was supposed to be out in June, so sorry for the delay. They said, listen, you know what, we're going to need a bit more time, basically just updating the fact that, look, they're still working on the game, and that's fine. But obviously then people become victims of their own sort of desires, right, at the end of the day, right? Saying, why isn't this out? What's happened? And they should have done this, and maybe this is happening, and everyone comes out with all their theories. So But I mean, even if when I'm watching this on your screen now, Indy, I
Yeah.
mean, this little sort of trailer of all the different games that we're showing, I mean, looks fantastic. Not every game's for me,
Yeah.
but I guess I could ask you the same question. What were your expectations from last year, and were they delivered on? And are you still anticipating some of these games, even though they're delayed? And there's another showcase where games we don't know about are going to hit. So it's going to be almost like, how can I put it? Like there's going to come a point where there's about a dozen release or stockpile of releases coming out in a
Yeah.
very short period of time.
Yeah. I mean, I like the show because it had, like always, Xbox do a good job of showing off indie games within the main showcase and giving them a spotlight, like PlayStation done recently. And just going off on a sidetrack there, PlayStation showcase recently done really felt like the Xbox style showcase to me, and I thought they'd done a good job of showing off indie games really nicely, and I really enjoyed it. Again, put a couple more first party to keep those first party people happy would have just made it a perfect showcase and all that. But anyway, back to Xbox. Like I say, I really look forward to the Xbox showcase because obviously I'm a subscriber to Game Pass, and but I play on PC, but yeah, so I benefit from the Game Pass facility and all that. But really look forward to Xbox and what they do with the showcases and stuff, because they have a nice diversity, a nice mix of games. And I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of the blue this time, as well as what could come back from the indie side of things. Like, for example, last time at the Xbox showcase, the first time I saw The Last Case of Benedict Fox, and I think potentially most people's first time they ever saw that was at that show. So it might be something like really juicy like that we get again. Last Case of Benedict Fox, just reviewed it. Check it out if you fancy, guys. I did enjoy that game quite a lot, and that's why I got slated by somebody like I was talking about a minute ago. But that's been a bit divisive, that game, but it's amazing. Check it out anyway. The review's on the channel if you fancy it. But like I say, we get some great announcements. We had Cocoon come out of the blue as well at that showcase. What a cool looking game that is, Cocoon. We might get an update on that. That's not come out yet. It was on that list of coming in 12 months. But again, we're not going to get too caught up on that. Although I do think that's a bad strategy for going forward personally. Hopefully they will put that to the side and not go down that route this time. But yeah, Cocoon is from the gameplay designer of Playdead.
Sorry, Andy, I was just going to say the kind of, even though me and you are not being overly critical about it, well, we're not being critical about it at all, but there is something to be said about the over promising and under delivering, and that doesn't always bode well if you keep doing that on a consistent basis. So I think you've hit the nail on the head. The one thing you want to see is that don't make predictions that you can't necessarily deliver on, but show us the content that we can look forward to.
Exactly. I feel like they made a promise of, or they set themselves a 12-month thing, and then they tried to shoehorn in every game into it as much as possible, and they set the constraints too tightly by doing a 12-month structure, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And that just where I think they shot themselves in the foot a little bit to follow through with that.
Especially as a platform holder with dozens of studios, and the reason why I'm saying don't do it on a consistent basis, because they did it all the way back when they will announce the hardware for the Xbox Series X, right? And they said Halo would be a launch title.
Yeah.
And they just keep doing it, and even though people don't really talk about it, subconsciously, you're kind of reticent to believe everything that a company says. And on the other hand, if you look at someone like Devolver, you ask about them, you can trust what they say. You can kind of Devolver. Yeah, that's a name you can trust. It's like a 70s
it is. US it really is. They probably do a cheesy showcase based around that slogan as well. I bet you they would.
You should drop their PR department an email.
Yeah, that's right up their street, I think.
So it's about brand, it's about awareness, and you shouldn't do anything to tarnish your brand. And I know it sounds like a little thing, but it only takes a few of those little things to create something subconsciously in people's minds as to look, are they really on the money? But were you surprised that I know we were talking about last year's showcase, but Silk Song was included straight off the bat in Game Pass.
Yeah, was I surprised about the Game Pass day one thing? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. I have to say I was.
Is that Game Pass Ultimate as well? So if you're a PC, if you access it via PC,
I think it is as well. Yeah, I'll get it on Steam though. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I was quite surprised because I know they've got such a massive audience anyway, and I thought they might just say, "Oh, we're big enough anyway. We'll just sell millions," you know what I mean? Which they will do, regardless. But
or Xbox gave them a guarantee that took that into consideration, and they said, "Look, the money's on the table now," rather than having to wait for it. So
the reason it's quite surprising though is because like when you've got an indie dev going for their first release or something, that's when you think, oh, Game Pass is gonna have their back. Then if the marketing doesn't get out there, or if people don't see how good this game is just because it's grassroots marketing and not a big budget or whatever, then you understand why they would take that Game Pass deal. But when it's a massive game that doesn't really need it, although they will benefit from it if it's big enough number that they've given them, and they must have given them a massive number, don't you think?
Well, they're probably giving them a massive number. I mean, I can hesitate, take a guess, but not live on show. But it's probably not as big as the number that they gave to Bethesda or ZeniMax.
Oh yeah, no. That'll be quite something.
So here's the number.
Yeah.
Here's the biggest. Well, you know what? You can have another 5. You can have another 5 years.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's got to be one of the biggest deals. It's got to be the biggest Game Pass deal for an indie game for sure.
And when we do the mock reviews, don't worry, we'll make sure that we'll ensure it's at least double digits above what's recommended.
Quick question, actually, little random one while we're on it. Just a random one. You can hazard a guess.
You're the king of random.
Yes, I am. How much do you think this game will be? Silk Song will be priced at on the store?
What was the first one?
Nothing. It's like, well, on Steam it's like $10.99 in the UK. Yeah, so $14.99, I think.
Yeah, $14.99. I reckon it'll fall between $14 and $19.99. Given that it's been 5 years. I mean, in your so look, I don't buy games on Steam, so I'm just taking a guess, but you'd probably be the best person to answer this question. If you paid for a game like forget about the quality of Silk Song, and how much you enjoyed it, but as someone commercial, if you bought that game 6 years ago at $15 or $10.99, if it was a similar game came out now at $14.99, would you say that's fair enough?
Definitely, I think a lot of people will pay £60 for it. I do honestly think so. I don't think they'll do that though. I think How much was it on the Switch? I never bought it on the Switch.
Interesting. And it never had a physical release on the Switch.
Probably maybe a touch more on the Switch because it's just that's how it is, isn't it? Usually, there is a physical release in the sense some Fangamer and stuff. I don't know if there is a otherwise one though. But yeah, see the like. Oh, Indie would pay something. I thought there was someone saying they would pay that. But I guarantee you, if you go to the Hollow Knight Reddit, which I have been to a few times, a lot of people would say they would pay anything basically for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think, and I think the Game Pass, I just had a quick look online. Like if you want to buy the physical version of the Switch, it's like 35 quid or something like that. Or whatever.
Right, yeah.
So I guess I think what you've just mentioned there, the deal with Microsoft, because they're giving them a guarantee as a platform holder, they may also say, look, we would prefer the game to be at this price point to help us to recoup. I don't know how the deal is structured, you see, but so you might be right. It might be more expensive, but I think that Team Cherry, I just don't see that they're the sort of developer publisher that would say, you know what, the first game sold millions at 15, so let's put the price up to 35 or 40. I think it'd be 50. I don't think it'd be 15. I think you $20 to $25.
Yeah.
I'm completely wrong, but I'm just trying to. I think that's good.
I think that's a good shout. I think that
unless money's totally.
I think Back from the Dead might be on the right case. I think it will be a little bit more, but yeah, not too crazy. They wouldn't take the mick. I think you're right. They're not the kind of people who would just take the mick and just be like, right, you're going to have to pay this.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Unless things have gone to their head and they're under sort of pressure because of the guarantees that they've taken, and they say, yeah, look, we'll still only charge you 20 plus your firstborn.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. Yeah. No.
60.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I think it'll be, like I say, more 25. Maybe £20, $25 or whatever. Yeah, something like maybe $30 maxi, I think. But
well, let me ask you this question then: the other games that I've released in like Planet of Lana and some other games that you've really enjoyed and that have kind of made you reminisce about Hollow Knight, what price have those games been at?
So I'm not. So I can just check them actually, because, for example, I got the review key for Last Case of Benedict Fox. I'm not sure how much that is. I'll check these now. Planet of Lana, I got on Game Pass. So let me just check them out. I think Planet of Lana was a little more than £16.99 on Steam. Planet of Lana, £16.99. So that's probably like 21, isn't it, or something? Dollars or
$20.
Actually, I've got a conversion here. Actually, yeah, 20 exactly. It says. So yeah, so $20 basically for Planet of Lana, and that's quite a short game. But quality is the most important thing, obviously. Let's check out what Benedict Fox is going. I think that might be around the same. The great thing about indie games is, you get a good deal. Benedict Fox is £20.99, and it's $24.99.
Yeah, 20 to 20 pounds, $25 sounds about right.
Yeah.
But,
see, I think maybe 20.
Sorry, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so definitely be interesting to see, but I think a lot of people will pay whatever it takes. Like Mr. Domez says, that's exactly the kind of thinking I was, thinking that some people will be looking at. Also, I can hear some sound there. Let's turn that off. Sorry guys. Yeah, so Mr. Domez, where was that comment? I pay full AAA for Silk Song, no questions asked. Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people would. I bet you would as well, VJ, right?
Well, the comments that I'm seeing in the chat, when I've said before, there's no issue with a game being $5 or $100. It's up to the perceiver what they want to pay and how much enjoyment they're getting out of the game. But like I've said to you, there's many Nintendo first-party games that are $60 indie, and they're only like 5 to 10 hours long. And then you play something like Zelda, it's $10 more at 70, but you get 150 hours. So and it's taken several more years and considerable larger teams to create that game. So not everything is created equally or should be charged for equally, and that's why I've never had an issue with $70 games. Also, what people don't know is that some platform holders besides Sony have artificially inflated cost of development by offering considerable more wages, especially on the West Coast,
right,
which has kind of caused and with golden handshakes and golden handcuffs and all that sort of stuff that have caused development costs to rise because of the competition for talent.
Yeah.
I mean, with the art director from Santa Monica going over to Netflix, it's quite a surprise. But these people and Google and Microsoft offer life-changing money to certain luminaries within the industry, which can make or break a studio. But I won't go into all of that because we'll be here for 4 hours. So
that's okay. Yeah, no worries. I mean, I guess that's something that the indies sort of get to stay out of a little bit, all of that sort of thing, which is quite nice. But yeah, no, good stuff, buddy. What's it say there? Won't Silk Song be 60 to 100 hour game for indie gamer and VJ? Yeah, well, that's the other thing is like, you can get so many hours out of, the original Hollow Knight, so many hours in it, and the amount you pay for it is just, it's like a steal, isn't it? So yeah, I think 100% it will be a lot of hours be poured into that game for both me and VJ, and probably a lot of other people as well who cannot wait for it. So yeah, bring on the Silk Song goodness. Sorry,
Stubbs
Gaming. He's going to be doing 100 hours. 100 hours on the first screen.
We'll put out a petition to Team Cherry to allow you and only you early access.
Exactly, we'll do it. Dragon Wolf in the house. How is it going, my friend? It's great to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Okay, so yeah, just to wind up on the conversation of the Xbox Showcase last time versus what you're looking at for this time. would you like it? Would you be happy if they just re-delivered this show essentially without the 12-month constraint, obviously, and just with new games? Are you happy with what you saw there, or was there something? What would you change this time? What would you like?
See, what I like about your shows, Indy, and I think, and this is not a joke, but what I think that some Xbox should look at is that there's three tiers to when I look at these kind of shows. Is that they're obviously going to make announcements of certain content that's going to be made available either immediately or imminently or within a 3-month window that you are definitely going to be able to enjoy, because if it's out in 3 months, that means it's going through certification, etc.
Yeah.
Then it's a case of what to look forward to within the next financial year, which obviously their financial year is the end of June. So they do everything they can to launch content so they can get those numbers, the financial numbers, up as high as possible, so in terms of subscribers, etc. And then anything beyond that is future promise, right, to keep you within the ecosystem and something to look forward to in the long term. So if they get that balance right, Indy, I'm fine, but they don't need to put dates on there. Like I said,
No.
Team Cherry did a really great thing. I know they don't tweet very much because they're focused on making the game and they haven't got anything to say, and it's probably better to stay quiet than it is to just keep saying stuff, because then people won't, just once bitten twice shy sort of thing. So I think they did the right thing. They never announced the game. Microsoft tried to intimate that it'll be out in 12 months by taking a guess, and that backfired. But it also tells you deeper issues over there. But and they handled it well and said, look, you know what? I know you guys were expecting it around this time, but we're going to need some more time. And and I think that's the way they've got to go about it, because making games is not easy. It is specialized, incredibly specialized. And it's not like other big industries out there which employ, like say the car industry that employs tens of millions of people. It only employs hundreds of thousands, well, not even hundreds of thousands of people, right? I think Xbox has got 5,000-6,000 people in their division, and Sony have got 4,000 or 5,000, and Nintendo 3,000 or 4,000. So it's not, and then you've obviously got all the third-party companies, but it's not like any other industries. It's more specialized, more technical. And if you think about it, the last 40 years, it's an industry that they've reinvented the wheel, dozens of times in some ways, especially with the way technology evolves. So, as I say, something imminent, something between now and Christmas, and then show us some future promise. And then I think they'll have a great show. And I think Devolver do a good job of that. I mean, you know better than me, Indy, so it'd be nice to get your take.
We'll talk about Devolver actually, specifically in just a sec actually. But
in relation to how Xbox should,
how they showcase things. But yeah, definite. But yeah, no, like for me, bring I like the format the way they do it. I just don't like the constraint of the 12-month thing, but definitely focus on the near future. You just don't have to put a time and a date on it, do you? Just that puts unnecessary pressure on teams, which and then it causes issues, doesn't it? So you can obviously just focus.
Personally, I think they should all just get the indie gamer seal of approval before they announce anything.
Absolutely. Sounds good to me. But yeah, no, like there's lots that could re-emerge kind of thing in the showcase. We'll talk about that in a mo. But I've got a list of games I'm hoping we'll see re-emerge. I'm sure you've got some which you are too. But yeah, what I'll do is I'm going to just have a little talk about, as you mentioned, Devolver. So have a little talk about Devolver and how they kind of do things with regards to let's have a quick butcher's here. Have I got it at the hand? Here we go. So I got Devolver Showcase on your screen now, guys. This is last year's 2022 showcase from Devolver, packed full of awesome games. They do it shorter, obviously. It's like a 30-minute showcase usually. Very much looking forward to their show this year. You always get like just quality games. Obviously Shadow Warrior 3 on the screen right now. But yeah, they've got an amazing lineup of games on the way, Devolver. So, we've got Gumbrella on the way. We've got, what else have we got? We have, basically, let me get to my list here. We've got Skate Story, which is definitely one of my most, anticipated, which could be coming this year. Gosh, I'm coming up short with Devolver at the moment. Let's look on here. Yeah, well, I'll come back to the full list in a minute when I've got that. But yeah, Devolver though, just like I say, they deliver top quality stuff. They put on the show, which is always entertaining. And yeah, they don't go overboard on the amount of, or they go overboard in the showcase, but they don't go overboard in packing too many games in. They usually keep it on the ones where they're actually going to be bringing them pretty soon, like you said earlier on. So yeah, it's going to be good to see which ones get the spotlight this time. Like I say, I think
they're very good at focusing their audience.
Yes, definitely, and that's exactly right. So they put people's focus onto the games that are coming like quite soon. Like I say, like this year we could be seeing Skate Story and Gunbrella because they are set for 2023 releases. And yeah, I'm hoping we do because those games are both looking fantastic. Gunbrella, I played at WASD, which is fantastic. It really fun game, and Skate Story just looks out of this world and just really cool. But yeah, so you looking forward to seeing what Devolver have you got any games you're looking forward to from Devolver at all, or just looking forward to the show in general?
I have to be honest, I don't play many, well, unknowingly I don't know if I've played that many Devolver games, but I've always appreciated
you definitely have with maybe not knowingly, but yeah, sorry, go ahead. I'll let you know some you probably have in a minute.
But I've always appreciated the foundation and the principles of the way the company's been founded, the way it's been developed, and the way that it's sort of has always remained honorable to its own principles. And even though they've gone public, they haven't changed. And
yeah, exactly.
And I think that, as I said to you before, it's many people have visions, and people say, oh no, the vision's great. Delivering on a vision is very difficult, and at some point when your vision's not going quite correct, or you have a huge influx of money, or you have an acute level of resources, power and influence, you start to compromise, and then your vision becomes a desire. And I won't go into all the principles and the exact meanings of the word because you can look that up, but you kind of get it. But it seems to me that no matter what's happening at Devolver, they're staying sort of close to their roots. And that's why when you asked me the question about Team Cherry and what price do you think, or when we were discussing about the price of Team Cherry, it's just that I'm not saying they have the same DNA, but they seem to be cut from the same cloth in terms of how they approach the industry.
Yep. No, I know what you mean. Definitely. Yeah, like...
Is that what you say? I know what you mean, but you're totally wrong.
Yeah. No, I agree. Okay, I agree, Master.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, definitely. But yeah, no.
We're just approaching this dialectically, so we can come to some sort of mutual understanding. But we're both making our approach to the truth, right? So we're trying to find a way there, because the truth is a pathless land, as they say.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, no, like so.
As in, there's no fixed path, right? You can get to the truth by many ways.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah, for me, like I think we've got Plucky Squire on the agenda for 2023 still as well, so we could be seeing that this year. But there's one game that I would absolutely love to see from Devolver, and that is a bit of a. This is an out of the sort of like pie in the sky sort of like hope and dream, I guess you could say, for this year's game showcase season. Because one game I absolutely adored is Death's Door. That's from Devolver, and Acid Nerve is the developer.
Death's Door, I finished that.
That's an amazing game, and that will be one of my. I won't call it a prediction because, I mean, well, to be honest with you, I'll tell you what, I'll just call it a prediction, and I'll call it a real big hope that, say, Death's Door 2 gets announced, or a new game from Acid Nerve sometime over this game showcase season. I'll put that one out there.
That was another game you recommended to me, Indy, that I finished.
Cool. Good stuff. Good game. That was. Did you enjoy it?
I did. I think we had a quick chat about it. I said, look, you know what? I know I didn't know it was their first game. I said it was a really great game, but I wish this and this was a little bit more adjusted. But
it's not actually their first game. It's not the first one, that one. I forget the name of the first one now.
Look, I completed the game, so I must have enjoyed it. So that's not the issue. I just felt that
fantastic game.
But the thing is, I can't really complain. It was in Game Pass. I had a really good time with it. I wish a couple of things were a little bit different, but that's just personal. And I think that they did a phenomenal job. So Yeah, no. I mean, what I meant to say was that you're absolutely spot on. I have played Devolver games without actually knowing.
Yeah, that's
knowing
the
that I've
thing.
played
If
them.
there's loads that you probably have, but yeah, they've got an absolute
Not as
ton.
many as Stubbs Gaming.
I don't know about that, but yeah, no. For me, that's a big one. I don't know if you guys in the chat have played Death's Store. You should definitely check it out. Excuse me, but yeah, amazing game. Amazing developer. The developer actually did the music as well as the game as well. And yeah, he's incredibly talented. They were actually at WASD as well, the showcase I went to in the UK a few months back. And they were walking around, but they weren't showcasing. They were just there, and they talked to Devolver. Obviously, I saw a few pictures and stuff. But yeah, that I don't know. It just kind of made me think. I don't know. It made me think that like they were like saying on Twitter like nothing to announce, and I was just thinking, I reckon they've got something to announce and just not ready for it yet. You know what I mean? Not quite time to announce yet. They're kind of people who will have something in the works. I just know it. They are very talented, and yeah, maybe that could be something that gets announced this year. I'm just going to put that as a cheeky little prediction, stroke hope and dream, as that is part of what this show is all about. So yeah, Death's Door 2, or like I say, if it's not Death's Door 2 and they don't decide to do a sequel, that's understandable for people like them. And I would love to see a sequel, not a sequel, a new game from Acid Nerve if it's not Death's Door 2, because I think that would be phenomenal. But yeah, fantastic stuff. That's a little cheeky one thrown out there. But yeah, Devolver, lots on the horizon. Obviously, recently at the PlayStation Showcase, we had the announcement of Neva, the game from the developer of Greece, which Neva actually looks fantastic. It looked amazing at the showcase, but since there has been posts on Twitter with gameplay screenshots basically, and it's made me feel so good because the trailer obviously was stunningly beautiful and emotional, but it didn't really show what was suggested as the gameplay. And now, like I say, since I've seen 3 screenshots, which you should follow the developer if you want to find out what that's all about. I've retweeted them and stuff. But the screenshots look fantastic, and they look sort of the same sort of vibe as Greece, which is absolutely amazing news in my opinion, because I was worried they were going to go off in a different direction, like a 3D game or something like that. But feels like it's on the same sort of feel as that original game Greece, which is an amazing game. So looking forward to seeing what they have with that. Maybe we'll see more of Neva, which, like I say, was at the showcase at PlayStation. But maybe not. Might just be the fact that they've announced it there, and we'll see them again in a few years. But like I say, Plucky Square still on the run-up for release. Gunbrella, amazing game, which, I had a lot of fun with. The actual Gunbrella is a super cool weapon which you can float as an umbrella, and you can also use it as a gun at the same time, which is cool. You should check out Gunbrella if you haven't already. It's a really fun one, yeah. Like 2D side scrolling, but yeah, you can shoot in 360 degree direction, but it's a 2D game kind of thing. But yeah, very cool.
Question for you, Indy. You know the placard or the billboard for Devolver, the return of Volvi, is that an actual game, or is it a mascot? Or do you know what the story is?
It's a good question actually, because I actually have no idea, and I was intrigued whether it was a real thing or whether it's something they've totally made up and pretended it's real, if you know what I mean, because it looks like it's from the 80s, doesn't it? The whole sort of marketing thing looks 80s-ified. Yeah. I don't know if it is a real thing. I'm not sure. If anyone knows in the chat, let us know if the Devolver, what's it called again? The Volvi. That's it, Volvi. Yeah, so if anyone knows in the chat, let us know whether it's real or if it's just something they've made up to sort of.
Because like Volvi seems like a play, or a
play on words.
Of the word of
yeah,
Devolver,
definitely.
Play on words. Yeah, I thought it's either a game or a return of a character that preceded the actual creation of Devolver, or it's just like something to shake up the mind. Have I missed this game? But it's actually introducing the mascot company.
It could be something they just made up, and then because what they've done before is they've actually released a mini sort of game just off the back of the showcase and things, which is actually ties into the marketing campaign and stuff. Just a very small game. So I wonder if they'll do something like that again with this. I don't know.
I just want to know how many takes this lady had to do, because we might have got through about 18 of these sandwiches.
Hot dogs, VJ.
There you go.
You're not lowering yourself to the standard of a hot dog. It has to be a sandwich.
No, it's got to be a bacon sarnie in it, really.
I don't know. I think I'll take a hot dog over. But yeah, no, good stuff. Looking forward to Devolver though. They always bring the goods. I'm sure they'll have something new, and be great. The one thing I'm probably most looking forward to hoping to see is Skate Story release date from them. That'll be awesome because I'm really excited for that game. But yeah, and Gunbrella as well will be cool. But yeah, so much. I mean, if you actually look through what they've got upcoming, I mean, now there's Talos Principle 2, which was announced at the showcase as well. Skate Story is obviously on there. They've got Angerfoot on the way as well, which I don't think's quite ready, which is a crazy game. Cult of the Lamb's recently had some DLC. Have you played Cult of the Lamb at all, VJ?
No, but I know that you've spoken very highly of it.
Yeah, it's really cool actually. Yeah, the gameplay is not as nuanced as I would like, but it's a very good game. If that makes sense. There's the farming sim aspect of it, and there's the actual you go out on runs, obviously roguelike, and the actual gameplay part of it is good, but it's not quite as, like I say, nuanced, not quite as developed as I would like that to be. That's where it sort of just slightly falls shorter, but it's still a brilliant game.
I did complete the game on screen now, though.
What one was that? Oh, on Trek-Tiomi, is that?
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah, no, that's a cool game, definitely. I really enjoyed that. Game? Another Devolver game, indeed.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Oh, God. Another one. This is the perfect time to shout out, actually, another game. And this one's for Scotty Baby, if you are watching, my friend. So I think you might be watching Catch Up later on. But yeah, so hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope you're enjoying your nice time away. But yeah, time to shout out a little prediction from Scott from, if he doesn't turn up to the show, he's still here because we wouldn't miss him. So yeah, this one is for you. A little hope and dream, I suppose, more than anything, that we finally see the Katana Zero DLC at the Devolver Showcase. That would be awesome, and I'm well with you there, my friend, definitely. So yeah, Katana Zero, if you haven't played that already, fast-paced, like Neon, side-scrolling, one-hit kill sort of game. It's in the intro to the actual podcast here. That might be the one you saw, VJ. I think you sort of play as like this kind of like samurai sort of type person, but yeah, just a really cool story to it, and fast-paced sort of gameplay, just a really cool soundtrack, sort of like synthwave sort of vibes. But yeah, really fantastic game to play, and we've been waiting on that DLC for a little while. It feels like it's a bit of a Silksong story maybe coming into action as it's developed, and maybe grown and grown potentially. So it's been fact that we might be getting a bigger game than originally anticipated, a bigger DLC, or even a game like Silksong completely, where it started out as a DLC. So yeah, maybe Katana Zero 2 could be the actual new announcement instead. But yeah, either way, if it's the DLC, would love to see it again. That's for Scotty Baby from from the side there, that one. But I'm so on board with that Katana Zero DLC. I know a lot of people love that game as well. It's a fantastic one. Check it out, guys, if you haven't already.
Indeed, if you had to choose and you were only allowed to watch one event, which one would it be?
Damn, that's tricky. That's hard, man. I don't know, it's either like probably Devolver or...
I didn't ask you what all the ladies say to you. I just wanted to know which event you were.
That's a tough one, man, because it's like maybe Devolver is the most entertaining. So, yeah, probably I would say that. They deserve the win on that, I think. What would you say?
Oh, I asked the questions here.
How you turned into the host.
Magnus Magnuson, I asked the
questions. So I'm guessing you'll take Xbox?
Let's put it this way. I'd go wherever they're showing either, let's see, that Halibut game.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened to that.
Harold Halibut, yeah, we want to see that. Yeah. PC game.
The Little Devil Inside and Silksong. Wherever they're showing those games.
Yeah. That's a good way of answering it, and to get out of it at the same time.
I'll watch whichever one. I'll watch the show, whichever one Stubbs falls asleep during.
Oh, that'll be all of them.
Oh, well, you know what?
Mr.
I tried.
Mr. Domez says PC Gamer. Nice. Good pick, my friend. Although PC Gaming show can be quite sometimes, I don't know, it's a little bit hit and miss sometimes. Hopefully it'll be better this time. But oh yeah, another game just coming on the screen right now, Wizard with a Gun. That's one which is that should be coming quite soon actually. So that could
really good.
Yeah, it's really cool actually. It's this is definitely one where we could see it again if it's for release, but depending on how the development's going and stuff. But yeah, like there's so many to look forward to from Devolver. They do amazing work, and you can always guarantee that it's going to be something awesome.
For a moment there, I almost thought I was watching a trailer for Crowsworn, an animated.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean actually. I'd love to see Crowsworn as well. Crowsworn some showcase would be lovely to see. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, let's move on from that. Actually, what we'll do before I move away from this screen, because I've got a little something I just wanted to dive into. I know I'm sort of jumping around a little bit, but I just want to go back to this screen here, just to go back to the Xbox showcase, just to give you a quick recap of what was actually shown, and then we'll move away. Should have done this a little bit ago, but what I might just do is blow that up, just so.
I thought you were going to announce Star Wars 7: The Search for Luke.
So I was going to hopefully make
Episode 7.
Yeah, it just happens to be on the Indie Games podcast. So there we go. Let's blow that fully up. Oh gosh, I need to get rid of the frame now.
It was quite impressive at the time.
So yeah, that's all the games that were like a last showcase. So there's Replaced on there. Definitely would be cool to see that come back. That had a bit of a delay due to the war and everything. So it would be cool to see that re-emerge again. It was at the Summer Game Fest last year, so cool to see it there. But that was when they announced, the delay. But like this year could be its year to come back and grace us. I think the way they've done this as well, they've kind of laid it out almost like in chronological order, the way I sort of look at it anyway. And it feels so, it makes you think sort of like Last Case of Benedict Fox is the second to last there. This is in their minds, of course. No Silk Song on this actual list as well. That was one of the things which made people think as well that it probably wasn't again, sort of, but yeah, anyway, Cocoon is just after that, so maybe Cocoon is getting a little bit close potentially. Although if you look along that bottom row, Ereban Shadow Legacy is not out yet, I don't think so. There's a lot which didn't come out, but yeah, anything what you can gauge from this list? Anything you're sort of like gleaning from what you're seeing?
I think when I first saw it, it was like, wow, it's an impressive list. It's a lot of content, which I probably, if I was inclined to play every single game in something, and I had no issues with it, it would take me a couple of years, maybe 3 or 4 years actually, to get through all of them. Especially in the way that I approach games. I want to complete them, but then I want to find everything within those games as well, as you know. So. But obviously, 12 months on, the way people analyze this thing is a little stupid, really. They say, oh, this missed, that hit, that missed, that never came out, this has disappeared. Yeah. But again, I just go back to the fact that anything can happen in the games industry, and it's very unpredictable, very difficult. And some games, even though they're announced, may never see the light of day. But I think I'm with you in the fact that I think that from looking at this, that the majority of the games have come out. Some of the others are delayed, but that's what I said. It's going to make for a very interesting next 2 or 3 quarters where everything's going to be stockpiled, because I don't think this has probably got half the games that you've got on a list somewhere tucked away in terms of what you've got to play, review, and you want to enjoy for your own personal.
But that's right, yeah. I mean, even looking at this list, there's no Planet of Lana. There was a lot of games that came out on Xbox Game Pass that weren't actually on this list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
like you say, games that have emerged, right? That weren't planned. So, but Cocoon, I remember seeing something about that, and it was intriguing. Indeed, I can't lie. And I don't think was Persona 5. Did Persona? Oh, no, it is there. It's right there. And that's another game I spent nearly 150, maybe 200, nearly 200 hours on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Like I say, that these are a showcase of the list, but they're not the full, list of everything. Like, one that just got announced recently, which is coming in June, is Dordogne as well, which is a really cool, artsy, beautiful art style.
Sorry. Dordogne. Oh, yes, it's a town in France, right?
Yeah, it is. That's what it's based upon, basically. It's basically like going on holiday there in a lovely, idyllic way. That's what the game is about.
You know that I know. I hate to change the subject, but the reason why I remember the Dordogne is a town in France because in one of the episodes of Only Fools and Horses, Delbert wants to go there for a trip. He sort of dreams of it. So sorry,
yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful. I think it's south of
France. The only reason I
know. That's funny. What a reference. That's what you're going to say. You went there or something. But yeah, no, I think it's like south of France. Beautiful. Like the art style is stunning. And yeah, definitely check out Dordogne if you like a more relaxing game. I know a man who would love that game, and that is Meisuko. But unfortunately, we haven't seen Meisuko for a while. I don't know if you've heard from Meisuko, have you?
No, I think he's what I've ascertained from the Greater Will is that he's waiting for enlightenment to finally reach him, but she hasn't yet. She's slightly delayed. So Suko's waiting patiently.
Yeah.
And on that note, I just wanted to, if you don't mind, Indy, I just wanted to give a shout out to Wulong Fallen Dynasty.
Yeah.
I completed that game in co-op with Removable, and phenomenal game to arrive in Game Pass. Really, really polished. No crashes, no bugs, no issues. Straight off the bat, worked. And I'm hesitating here to say this, but I'm kind of looking forward to the DLC, unless something else of huge promise or huge anticipation arrives prior to that.
Cool, man. No, good stuff. Yeah. So let's see.
Is that your way of saying Wulong? Yeah, in the bin.
In the bin, yeah. No, it's not.
Wulong.
Wulong, too long.
Wulong. Is
that? No, too long.
Wulong, too long. It's a tea simulator. Yeah, no, forget it. And now you're showing me a toilet.
Wulong. Yeah, this is what I think of it. Wulong, sit on the toilet. Love it. Let's see here. Let's move away then from what we've discussed there. I mean, I'll just have a final thoughts on maybe Xbox Showcase. Then what we're going to do is dive into all of the kind of games we're hoping to see, maybe, or anything you've seen in the past that you'd like to see re-emerge and stuff. But like what we'll do just now is any last things you want to mention about kind of like the showcases to specifically maybe Xbox or anything like that. You want to see anything come out from those shows, or the way they do it, or anything you want to wind up on for the showcase part of it?
What I would say is that, I mean, obviously I'm partaking in a couple of showcases, but for the indie shows, I'll probably be tuning into your channel to watch those, and
Thank you.
And getting your takes on what to look forward to, because there's so many games, Indie, it's hard to sort of pick and choose. So I kind of listen to you to determine what I should keep my eye on, make a list, and then go about it that way through your recommendation specifically, and then and go about it that way. So even though I may see something, oh, that looks great, that looks good, like say Crow Sworn or The Little Devil Inside, or I'm not picking on those games in particular. It's just that we've been, like you said, we've been anticipating those, and we're not sure where they quite are. But games that that you've got your eye on, that about the developer, about the publisher, that they're gonna be out roughly when they say they're going to be out, and they're going to be good, and how many games they've made. So even though I may see something that may take my fancy, I'll still sort of ear towards your recommendations, and that's, I guess, what I'm looking forward to more so than the shows themselves.
Nice. Yeah, sounds good.
Take, effectively.
Yeah. Well, we'll dive into some. I've got some recommendations, sort of like ones that I'm especially looking forward to bring up in a second. Maybe that would help jog your memory of some stuff and everything. And let us know in the chat, guys, what games have you seen in the past that you're hoping to see re-emerge, all that sort of thing, or any games maybe you've seen that you've played the first game of that you'd like to see a sequel of, or anything like that. We'd love to hear in the chat, and we'll definitely read it out. Any comments that you do have in the chat, basically. Totally. Yes. So thanks so much for hanging out with us, guys. That was really awesome to have you in, hanging out during the showcase season, kicking off the party, as they say. Looking forward to all that's ahead. And yeah, feel free to hit that like button if you are enjoying it. It would mean a lot. And feel free to share it out as well. It would certainly mean a lot for that too. But thank you so much for being here. And yeah, let's crack on to our final sort of segment, I suppose you could say. So yeah, speaking of Skate Story, which I was mentioning earlier on, that is one of the game I would like to mention right now, because what we're going to do, like I say, is dive into some more specifics of what we're excited for game-wise, hopes and dreams, predictions maybe. But yeah, like I say, just brought up the old Skate Story on the screen. This is definitely one of my hopes for getting a release date for. That's what I'm going to hope for. I'm going to predict it as well. Let's say it. But the Devolver Showcase, I think it's time. I think it's time for some Skate Story release date. This one I've been looking forward to since it was just GIFs and small clips of videos on Twitter, so a long time before it even had a Steam page, when I was sort of like thinking, where's the Steam page for the thing? And then quite far down the line, because this was just it's a solo developed game by Sam Eng, and didn't have Devolver involved for quite a long time, and then all of a sudden Devolver involved towards the end, maybe a year ago or something, last year potentially. And yeah, looking fantastic, and just, it's great to know that it's now got Devolver behind it as well, so that it can give it every chance of having as much success as possible, because it really deserves it, as this solo developer Sam Eng is super talented, and I love the crazy otherworldliness of the look of this game. But yeah, have you heard much about this one, VJ? Skate Story?
I haven't, but I'll tell you something. And about, what is it, 2023, so about 16 years ago, I was with a developer, and there was a game that we were making, and we wanted the cloak of the character to work in a very specific look and feel, in a very specific way. So we had these simulations and stuff, like real world simulations from TV adverts and stuff, and it's very similar to how the cloak or the actual character looks in this game, in the Skate game. And when you mentioned it was just one person, is that right?
Oh yes, Sam Eng, it's one person. Yep.
I can tell you now, to try to get that visual effect about 15 years ago, I had a team of people on it, and it just shows you how, this is what I said to you, technology is moving at such a fast pace. The industry keeps reinventing itself, and it's it was just funny that I'm not a massive skateboarding fan, but it just brought back a very specific memory, and which games are very much capable of doing, about something I was involved in a long time ago, and then suddenly one guy released with the visual effect of the whole character of what we were working on, trying to do a few years ago. Yeah,
that's really cool. That's very interesting. So what was this effect? Was the specific effect that you were talking about? Sorry.
You see the visual effect on the character there, right here. The sort of flowing nature. What we were trying to get is the character had a cloak.
I got you. Yeah.
And there was adverts at the time in Japan. It was in Japan, this was, and nice. The character had a cloak, which we wanted to give like a you get those water fountains with the water, it sort of goes up and then it flows in an arc but comes back down, so that kind of flowy effect. And this is not exactly it, but it's sure. It's kind of within the realms of giving it that unique sort of visual look and feel. So from that perspective, it's I don't know how easy it is to do now, but obviously if one guy is doing it, I would love to know. If you ever speak to the guy who's created this, how easy or difficult it was to get this kind of VFX on the character, and was it how long it took, and was it time consuming, or is it just a click of a button? Because I don't know, and I'd love to know. But yeah, it's just things like that we kind of take for granted, that, oh, hey, that looks cool, but my goodness, I wonder how long he worked on that,
Yeah, it just looks like it was always this good as well. It's obviously taken a little bit of polish, but the early days it was looking this good.
And I just saw he's walking past a pile of books. So I kind of got I don't know. We'd have to speak to him, because I kind of get an idea of where some of his inspirations have come from as well. But we won't go into that right now. Yeah, but
that's cool.
That's really, really interested.
Because it's definitely
it wasn't easy. I can tell you now, for PS3 and Xbox 360 to get this
Yeah.
No, not
Yeah.
not you cannot get that. You cannot get these visual effects without the game slowing down to about 20 frames per second.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it looks amazing, and the feel to the actual skateboarding is like real. It feels really like a lot of momentum and stuff, and just feels good like to look at. Obviously, I don't even actually played it, but the way the skateboarding actually feels, it looks spot on.
Oh, is it out? Is it? Oh, I didn't know
No,
it
no,
was
no.
out.
So it's not out yet. No, no. But just like I say,
Oh,
I haven't played any of the demo or anything like that. There isn't a demo either. Sorry, confusing people there. But yeah, I've not played it. So, but just the way it actually looks and the sort of feel
yeah.
of the character, it looks like almost motion captured. I don't know what he's done with it, but
I can tell you now, Indy is I don't want to digress too much, so do stop me. Is we were looking at cheap ways to do motion capture at one point, and we rigged up about a dozen, or half a dozen, or a dozen Xbox. Remember the Xbox? Was it the one with the eye camera?
yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Yeah. So you can actually rig those together to create a decent level of mocap before then applying animation to it. I mean, it's a bit rudimentary, but I mean, back in 2000s, 2005, 2006, I don't know if you remember, I think they're still dominant in the industry now, but there was a motion capture for games and film and everything called Red Eye. I think it was Red Eye. I can't remember now, but they might still be dominant now. So it's just that motion capture now has become, you can kind of make it at home yourself if you really want to, or you can go to a suite, and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, right?
yeah,
But these smart developers, especially independent developers, there's a lot of things that they can do at home now. And then, get animators to layer on the nuances on top and so on and so forth. So,
yeah,
and even 15, 20 years ago, they were fine. I mean, I know they do massive GDC conferences now and saying, hey, look at this, we're doing motion capture, and look, it's rendering in real
yeah,
time in our game engine with the characters as it should be. That's been going on for decades. And so what I'm trying to say is that I don't know who this particular guy is, but a lot of that stuff is on white papers now. And if you're technical enough, you can understand exactly how to do it in the comfort of your own room. And your comfort of your own garage to some degree as well. So, but it'd be
yeah.
lovely to have a chat with this guy, because it may just look like a simple skateboarding game, but there's so much
Oh
going
no,
on
definitely
there.
not.
That's when
Yeah,
you said there's one guy doing it, I was like, you're
yeah.
joking.
Game Boy is, he's confidently says it as well on the old screen, but he may be getting in additional contractors or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
It would just be lovely to have a chat with him and to ask him these questions just for our own, curiosity. But if that ever happens, if you ever do get him on by chance, I'd love to be a part of that.
yeah,
conversation.
that would be awesome. Definitely. I mean, I think he's I think he's a New Yorker. I think he might be. He might.
Skates.
Yeah,
That
but
explains the skate.
he definitely is a passionate skater, though. Yeah, all right, sure. Yeah, actually, I've seen a video of him actually doing a little bit of skating, showing how he'd programmed it or something. I can't remember, it was ages ago, but yeah, he's obviously a passionate skater to make a game like this. But yeah, for me, it just feels really good. I wouldn't be surprised if it was actual motion capture, or done in the cheap way, like you're saying, or whatever. But it just looks so feels perfect to me, like the way it actually flows.
It's not about cheap or expensive. It's about how can you take that work and just how can you take something simplistic and make it look like $1 million? And that's a skill in itself.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Because you can have all the tools, like I always say to people with editing and stuff like that. You don't need to buy all the best stuff and all that kind of thing. If you don't know how to use it, it's all about knowing how to use things to the maximum potential.
That's right.
Even if you've got the more basic
like a
stuff.
controller, Mr. Stubbs.
Exactly. So yeah, no, definitely looking forward to Skate's story. It looks like an awesome game. This is Gunbrella, by the way, that's on the screen now. This is a game I was harping on about earlier on, by the way, guys. So yeah, this feels so great to play this game. It takes a little bit of getting used to, because you got the old Gunbrella thing, and you got the right stick and the left stick. So right stick, obviously you aim up and down and stuff like that, and you can use the umbrella to float and then shoot in different directions as well. But yeah, I think you'd like this one, VJ. Gunbrella is a Devolver game again, so a couple of Devolver back to back there. But yeah, this one,
this looks really good.
It's cool, isn't it?
Reminds me of like a fast-paced Castlevania almost.
Yeah, definitely. It's a Metroidvania style game. So played it at WASD and loved it, basically. Yeah. So
Hollow Knight is also Metroidvania. Is that right? I get confused.
Oh yeah, definite, 100%. Yeah,
okay.
Very much so. It's quite true to it. It's also got the Souls-like aspect. But
I really like the art style. Is it out already, this game?
This game's not, no. So this is one, like I was saying, it's come 2023, it says. So hopefully at the Devolver Showcase, we will get a release date. That will be awesome.
Sold.
You've
sold one.
Brilliant. Love it. And this one coming up now is Cocoon, guys. We've talked about this one a second ago as well, so we're keeping them coming for you. But yeah, Cocoon was at last year's Xbox Showcase, and like it said a minute ago, Jep Carlson is the developer of this. He was the lead gameplay designer of Playdead, so pretty amazing talent going on there in this game. So first revealed, I think, at Xbox Showcase last year, so could potentially show up again, potentially with a release date maybe, or that might be a bit much to ask. But either way, this game looks fantastic. Another game which, it'd be good to see an update on. They have been posting quite a bit more on Twitter lately as well, which is very cool to see. So it does make me think as well. It reminds me of when The Ascent, that game, was coming out, and they were quiet on Twitter, and then all of a sudden it's like all the lights started to turn on the machine, basically, and like on the run up to release, if you know what I mean. So it made me think that at that point that game must be coming quite soon, and it did come quite soon. So yeah, when they start posting a lot on Twitter and stuff, you sort of get the impression that the game might be on the run up to release. So hopefully that is the same for this one, as they are posting a bit more. But yeah, either way,
you see with these indie games like Umbrella and now this one specifically, I know it may have a really great art style and have a really cool looking name and be backed by a really good publisher. But what I find with these sort of personal stories, mostly, what indie games are, from one aspect, I'm not saying that's what they are in totality, is that with the personal messages that they carry, when I play indie games, they do unlock something inside of you that AAA games don't.
Definitely. Well said.
Yeah, on different philosophical levels, if that makes sense. Because the messages, I'm not saying AAA games are bad, because those are created with more of a collective passion on a grander scale. That's fine, and that's absolutely fantastic, because it brings pleasure and joy to so many people. But personal messages or personal stories, I think are what are commonplace from 1, 2, 3, 4, people combining together to create their message to the world. And not everyone makes it, but this does look really, really good. But Umbrella suddenly got me.
Cool, I like that. Yeah, Gumbrella's really cool. And like I said, I've played quite a lot of that one, and I was really chuffed with the gameplay. I think it's one of those games when the first few minutes you sort of getting used to it, because there's a lot more going on than some games in that one, because you've got, like I say, a 360-degree aspect, and you can jump and glide down and shoot on top of people's heads, if you see what I mean, that kind of thing, which is so cool. But yeah, this is really good. This looks amazing as well, doesn't it? This is from Annapurna, by the way. We know you love a bit of Annapurna.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. You see the way that the end sequence there, where it was like kind of one sphere being pulled back and then into a larger sphere, it reminds me of the end credits to the Men in Black.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's what a lot of the gameplay is built around, the spheres in this game. It's that puzzle aspect. But yeah, it's a very nicely done game, like cinematic.
I played both of those. Yeah.
Sorry. Cool. Oh yeah. Yes, like I said earlier, it's the previous gameplay designer from Playdead. So, who are the developers of Inside Limbo? Yeah. So if you've
indie, isn't that a bit of a I forgot the word for it, not a dichotomy, but it's like a guy leaves an indie dev to create an even smaller indie dev studio.
Indie
devs, we get indie devs, basically.
I mean, it's a big acclaim having been the gameplay designer of one of the best loved indie games of all time. I think that's a pretty big acclaim. You know what I mean? That's where it comes from. I think that's why it's right first, front and center on the trailer. So yeah.
No, but in terms of like how the industry is moving, right, and how the world moves and how people move throughout their lives, is like probably left I don't know, it's a bit of fancy here, but left a studio, formed the studio that created Limbo and the other game. And,
so the other way around though. Not left.
Sorry.
Created his left the studio and created his own though. That's what it was. Not the other way around.
Yeah, but left one indie studio to create it up, but perhaps even a smaller indie studio. I mean, I don't know what the story is.
To create his own vision rather than be a part of their vision, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, or rather leave a AAA studio to create an indie studio.
Yeah. I mean, they are the Playdead have become fairly big in a sense. The game they're working on now, they've grown the team quite a bit. So he's still keeping himself indie. I would say that's part of what that is. Like the new game from Playdead, I think they've actually joined forces with Epic actually. So maybe he's thinking, I don't like that. I want to make my own thing now. He want to keep his own thing intimate, and I also be maybe the front of the studio as well. So yeah, no, I respect it, and I think he's made a good choice for sure. That's actually brought up a little interesting one that you just said there, because Playdead, we still haven't seen their game for years, so I wonder if we'll see that this time. Have you played? You say you played both of those games of Playdead games?
Limbo and
Inside.
Inside, yeah. I've played both of those, and I think one of them was you recommended, and the other one that Stubbs actually Stubbs had a go at me for not playing. So
this is the only one he can have a go at you for, basically. That's probably what.
And he had a go at me at I think 100%ed it. So that one, so yeah,
cool.
It was good.
Stubbs, these guys has a go at people, and he probably hasn't 100%, is it? Stubbs, you know we love you, Stubbs. But shout out to BMG joining us. Thank you very much for being here, buddy. Good to see you. So Mr. Dom is saying, agree, I've backed Crowsworn and Bo on Kickstarter. Awesome stuff, my friend. And both of those games very excited for, as I mentioned there. Bo, I don't know if you noticed as well recently, Bo has that's Bo, Path of the Till Lotus, by the way, to everyone. Else, it has recently joined forces with, my God, Humble Games as the publisher. Don't know if anyone has noticed that. Don't know if you saw that, Mr. Gomez, but that's pretty cool. So they've got a publisher now, like I say, Humble Games, who are really good actually, and they do a lot with Game Pass. So maybe it will come to Game Pass as well. That might please some people. But yeah, either way, pretty cool that they've got some support, so they can really, flourish and get things on the road nice and quickly. But yeah, so good to see, I think, because Bo is looking amazing. You got your eye on Bo at all, VJ, or Bo the Path of the Till Lotus?
I'm not entirely sure what it is.
It's like a Metroidvania like Hollow Knight, which is inspired by Japanese folklore. You might well have seen it because I've posted about it a few times.
I think I have seen it. I just can't. I can't just bring it to the forefront of my vision at the moment. But
it looks amazing.
I'll definitely have a look it up.
Yes, definitely do so. Was there any games like that you were hoping to see like re-emerge this game showcase season, VJ, or any games that you're hoping for a sequel from, or like I say, games that you've seen announced before and you'd like to see come back and you'd get an update on, or anything like that?
Indy, you've showed that many trailers during the course of this this live show that if I ask for any more, I feel like I'm being really greedy.
Never. We know it's what it's all about, Game Shaker season. I mean,
yeah. Look, for me, it's just. I mean, Cocoon looks really good. The Bow game you mentioned has got me intrigued. Umbrella looks really great, and these are games that are known about, and I wasn't totally, sure of or aware of whether we're out or not. And there's already too much to play now, and now I've got to look forward to several hours of events where they're going to show tons more games. It's insane, Indy. It's insane.
Yeah.
And it's just but what it does tell you, there's an there's just me and you, right, speaking in isolation, but the appetite out there to consume content by millions of gamers out there. And there's so many experiences that others are going to have that I'm not, and there's experiences that I'm going to have that Stubbs definitely won't have, especially when it comes to that Warrior 5. But the point being, though, I feel a bit being a bit greedy, Indy, and I'm really interested to know who Geometric Interactive are, by the way.
Yeah, that's the developer that Jep Carlson has formed, basically.
That's the studio, is it?
That's his new studio, yeah. Let me put one up. Let me cue one up for you, which I know you are excited for.
Okay.
Personally, I am as well. well, extremely excited, is to say the least. But we haven't seen it for a while. So, which is Harold Halibut, which we talked a little bit about earlier on. But we got the trailer up for you now. So yeah, this game has gone a little bit quiet lately, understandably so, though, with being it's such a, probably painstaking game to make, based on the fact that they actually hand make all of the character models as it is like a stop motion style thing, basically, where they photograph it all gradually and animate it in that traditional sense, which is incredible. And this game looks so great. But yeah,
can I make a really bold claim here? But it's totally unfounded. But it's totally unfounded, so you have to acknowledge that first.
Go on then.
I think that this studio, from everything that I watched and documentary, I think they've been plagued by the fact that they're not sure whether they're making a game or a movie, or they're trying to straddle and create both at the same time, which is causing them to stumble a little bit. But,
right.
I'm hoping that I'm incorrect, but I could see the passion of filmmakers when I was watching this. And do you remember when we were watching this and we were talking about the voiceovers and stuff? Like, we were so impressed.
Yeah.
Or I was anyway. And the cinematography and stuff. But at the same time, I couldn't quite figure out what the game was. I mean, I know it's set underwater in a city and so on and so forth, and it's something to do with power cells and whatnot. But yeah, it's but trying to get the pacing right, to get the story right, to get the event sequence right, to get the whole gameplay loop right in a game like this, it's a tough mountain. And I think they were looking for funding as well at a certain point, right? So I'm like you, I really wanted to see this come to fruition.
Yeah.
And maybe you know the answer. Do you think that if someone like Devolver or Microsoft or someone else like that were involved in, they may have the expertise to really help them pull this through, and Annapurna Interactive? So you may know the background to why they are or are not with a bigger not a big publisher, but with a publisher that can definitely afford them some. I mean, they don't have to subscribe to everything the publisher offers, because most publishers, like even like EA Independent, whatever that label's called,
originals,
EA Partners or Originals, you don't have to actually subscribe to their whole publishing suite. You can pick and choose aspects of it that you want to employ as parts of your production that you're deficient on, as well as the publishing. So I don't know, but it's something that I do think about now and then. So it obviously is something that I wanted to play, Harold Halibut. So, but yeah, if it comes up and it's great and I was completely wrong, then I'll be really happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's never going to be a full smooth journey, especially when they're trying to be completely outside the box and try something new. Obviously, the challenge is there for them on making the game. But yeah, I mean, it probably would help them if they had a bit more funding and stuff like that. It is a fully independent game. It's not
your timing is perfect, right? Your timing is perfect. You said making the game, and then there's like a little model telephone being
all
of the plot.
Exactly. Yeah. But
you didn't plan that, did you?
I did, yeah. So yeah, that's Microsoft on the phone, yeah. No, but the thing is, like, I mean, this game is looking amazing. I think, one of the things about this is it's going to take time, as long as they can keep their focus and everything, and just continue to be able to devote themselves to making it.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point you make there. Keep focus, because games take a number of years to make, and they change your personality, they change your outlook. You go through a tremendous amount of different emotions, and you pick some of that up from. Do you remember the documentary you recommended me to watch on Amazon about indie games?
Yeah, was that the yeah, I know the one. Yeah, I forgot the name of it now. What's it called? The indie game, the movie, or something?
Something like that.
Was it that one? Yeah. Yeah, with the ones when it was focused on Super Meat Boy and all those games, was it?
Yeah, and that's why I think Silksong is taking time, because they probably went through hell making the first game. Time, budget, getting it out, testing, all that. And they're probably crunched like crazy. And I think they're both trying to have real lives as well as make a really cool game at the same time. So it's taking a bit longer. And I can understand that. But these guys are in a different situation, right? The guys with the Halibut guys, they've got to get this game out, because I mean, it does look outstanding, Indy, and
Yeah.
and do you remember the way they explained like how they've managed to get some of these prop sets and the effects into the actual game engine? Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, I do remember. I mean, if you have any other insights, definitely feel free to add those. I mean, because like, I mean, I can remember some, but yeah, I it's very clever stuff, isn't it? Have you got any other? Remember?
Yeah, you sent
Yeah,
it to me, I think, and I really appreciated it, and I learned a lot. So yeah, thanks for
yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, definitely check out this game, like, guys. I feel like they've gone a bit quiet on Twitter and stuff. They haven't really spoken much about it. It does worry me a little bit, like, but at the same time, developers need to get their heads down and focus. But yeah, I just really hope that it's not kind of gone off the boil completely, and it's something where they've realised they can't devote any more time to or anything like that. I think it'll be fine. We should stop worrying. Really, it's going to take longer than normal.
Yeah, if it was me, and if I was having struggles, I would have picked up the phone to EA. It seems, I don't know why I keep thinking of EA Originals.
Mm.
I think that they would be able to afford them. They've got some good people over at EA Originals, I think. So
Yeah, I would pick up a different number, but yeah, that's fair enough if that's what you'd call.
Subs, cool subs.
Yeah, I'd probably call people like Raw Fury and stuff like that over EA.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, but yeah, no, it's all good. Like, yeah, I don't know, EA still has that sort of, I don't know. It's they do good stuff with EA Originals, I do have to admit. But yeah, no, I would love to see Harold Harabut, re-emerge. No pun intended. There's a water-based game and all that. Sorry. Oh dear. But yeah,
it's definitely not playing, guys.
bad pun alert. But yeah, no, it's a beautiful looking game, and if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend giving this one a wish list, supporting them, and yeah, helping them along the way and giving them some love. Follow them on Twitter, all that good stuff. I mean, it looks stunning, doesn't it? Like, the underwater vibes, the lighting, everything comes together really beautifully. We should watch this trailer, by the way, the one that's on in the background, with the sound, because the sound is really spot on. There's a voiceover.
Sorry, Eddie, I was going to say the game's taking its time. I think it's in the name, Slow Bros.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, they put that up there at first. Yeah, but like I say, the voiceover and the trailer and everything, the way it comes together, it just feels beautiful. It's called the Story trailer, this one, by the way. So if you fancy checking it out with the sound, I'd recommend it, and hopefully you'll enjoy. But yeah, definitely love to see this game re-emerge. Shout out to all of your legendary comments coming into the chat, guys. I'm loving to see all that indie passion. Thimba saying, I'm more of an indie gamer than a AAA gamer. Legend. Well played, my friend. Love that. Mr. Domez always bringing them amazing takes. The indie scene is popular and growing as far as I can tell. Good for gaming. Let's go. And also to add, there's so many indies in the pipeline. Absolutely, my friends. So many. Also following on from there, keep convincing your friends to try indies. Tell them about Hollow Knight, Ori, Celeste, and more. Get them away from Modern Warfare, GTA Online, and all that crap. What a legend. I couldn't have said it better. That's totally agree with that, I have to admit. The games you've listed there as well, it's very special games. And shout out to Ramon for joining us. The first game is always the hardest to finish. So much learning and guesstimating. Yeah, absolutely. You're finding your way for the first time. Absolutely. Good point there.
Indeed, I just wanted to, just on the Mr. Domez's comment, is I think it was just recently announced that GTA sold about 170 million copies now, GTA 5.
Yeah.
And when I look at that, or when I see that number, I'm hoping it's true. Well, not hoping. I'm hoping that the fact is accurate. Let's put it that way.
Right. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Reasonably accurate. Is here we are talking about indie games. I don't play GTA 5, and I occasionally play Modern Warfare, maybe once or twice in a decade.
Right. Yeah.
And for me, it's just makes me feel like how out of touch I am, because I have no idea who plays GTA.
It's weird, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like
We must be on a completely different planet or far end of the spectrum.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like must be another subset of the whole, like community of gaming. Basically, I think it must be some, must be kids basically and stuff like that. I'm guessing, but yeah, I know where you're coming from. Good stuff. So, let's see here. One game I definitely want to mention as a game I'm looking forward to is from the upcoming Future Games show. So definitely a game I've been looking forward to regardless. It's coming to PlayStation and PC, this one, and it's been announced to be being shown off at the Future Games show, which we'll be doing a live reaction of course, on the channel. So yeah, is Pacific Drive. This game looks absolutely fantastic in my opinion. Very cool, sort of like a roguelike experience, but you got to sort of survive this sort of almost like nuclear area where you have to sort of run away from this sort of impending doom basically, and it's always catching up to you. And yeah, you've got to basically keep your car sort of like souped up basically, so it's protected, and pick up things along the way. It's just like a survival aspect kind of game where you've just got to escape, like I say, the closing in barrier where it'll basically take you down. But yeah, I just really like the atmosphere in the game, and looks, like a quite a unique concept and something which would be very interesting. I like the idea of driving, escaping it, and like then reinforcing your car with, like different upgrades and stuff like that. But it looks very cool to me, and I'm very excited for this one. And I know Luke is as well. He's not here as we know, but like I know he's looking forward to this too. But yeah, have you heard of this one, VJ?
I haven't, and I'm just trying to. I was trying to watch and follow your description, and just it's another indie game, correct?
Yeah,
that right?
It is indeed. Yeah, so I forget the name of the developer now, but yes,
quality, just the quality of the modeling and stuff is just
yeah.
I mean, car models and all the different items I'm seeing, they take time to produce, and it's like it's scary to think that this is made by. I mean, I don't know how big the team size is, but when I look at the number of assets on screen, or throughout the trailer, it's a phenomenal amount.
Yeah,
And they can't just be stock items, can they? I mean, maybe they are. I don't know. And then just tweaked, but
maybe, yeah, but I'm not sure.
it's just
But yeah, it could be. That does happen. But yeah, no, sort of starting point and then tweaked.
They're trying to build a Ghostbusters car there or something.
It does look a bit like that. The developer is called Ironwood Studios. I can try and find out size them if you like.
A cross between that and the DeLorean.
They are based in Seattle.
Right.
And it's coming to, yeah, I'm not going to probably be able to find the team size, but yeah, like it's an indie team, and yeah, they're quite a small team, and they're self-publishing on this one, I believe. Maybe they've got, hang on a minute, actually I might be able to find out. Looks like they're about 20 people.
Wow.
On the old team. But yeah, it looks very, very cool. In my opinion, like I say, like very unique concept, and like this roguelike vibe as well, where you will go out on a run, then upgrade, and I wonder if it's going to have more roguelite aspects where it will carry across, where you'll pick up stuff, or it will be specific to the roguelike vibe. But yeah, I'm definitely really keen to check out this one. I'm really interested to know whether it's on track for this year as well. But yeah, great to see an update on it, like I say, at the Future Games show. So looking forward to that for sure. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. You quite keen on this one, or not your sort of thing, VJ? Or
I don't think I've played a game like this before. So it's, there's something about it. But I'm just thinking of the team. So I'm just kind of looking at it from a production standpoint. That's where I'm stuck at the moment. And then the game's interesting as well. I don't know much about it, but I'm just floored by, because I don't think people really know how long it takes to model something, rig it, texture it, send it in the game, tweak it. I mean, each asset can take, depending on the pipeline, I mean, I don't know how efficient are now, but it's not built by AI. Someone's got to physically go in and create it. It can take 6 to 8 weeks, and sometimes even longer time, 12 weeks. I mean, that's at the, that's at the short end. When you hear like developers like Gran Turismo, one car takes 8 months, right? It's insane that what
Yeah, I mean, the tools are
developers are able to
extremely,
put out.
they're very good, the tools these days, aren't they, compared to what they were in the past? But yeah, they do make,
But you still got
I know,
to,
yeah, still their work there, obviously,
you still
yeah.
got to put the
Unless you want a
physical
generic
effort
game,
in.
obviously, a really generic looking game. But yeah, no, shout out again to the legend that is Mr. Domez. Thank you so much for the very kind super chat, my friend. You are truly a very kind person, and your support means the world. So it says, have another non-coffee on me. Cheers. I like it. Might have to take you up on that. That's very kind, sir. Really do appreciate that. Thank you. And like I say, even more so, thank you for your support and just hanging out with us. It is, great to have great people like yourself hanging out and loving the indie goodness. So yeah, we do massively appreciate that. Gonna get back to some of your comments that you've been writing here as well. So you said about where were we? The one that's
I was just going to ask your take on
Yeah.
this game. What's your sort of outlook on this?
Yeah, my take is I like roguelike games and I like driving games as well. And so this brings the two together. And I like the fact it's a survival aspect to it too. I'll give you a little take off the website, and I'll jump back to Mr. Thomas' comment in a sec. Pacific Drive is a run-based, first-person driving survival game. Your car is your only companion as you navigate a surreal and anomaly-filled reimagining of the Pacific Northwest. Structured as a roguelite. There you go. That's the good news I needed. I love a roguelite as opposed to roguelike. Both I enjoy, but roguelite is my preference. Each excursion into the wilderness brings unique and strange challenges as you restore and upgrade your car from an abandoned garage that acts as your home base. With each car... With the car as your lifeline, you'll unravel a long forgotten mystery as you make your way to the heart of the Olympics exclusion zone. Sounds amazing.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Sorry, could you just give me just 2 minutes? I'll be right back.
Of course you can. No worries. No, that's all good. I'll get to Mr. Domez's comments as well, but I hope you like the sound of what I just read out as well, guys. Let's see here. So... thank you very much, Mr. Thomas. You're a legend. So yeah, what was it you were saying then? So you say not saying they're bad, just for what they are, and they dominate and kill other ideas, I guess. Yeah, so you're referring obviously to GTA, like you mentioned earlier. Thank you very much. Looking forward to the showcases. Thank you. Appreciate that. That'll be amazing. And games can be good or bad, no matter if they are indie or the other end of the spectrum. AAA, yeah, absolutely. There are some great AAA games out there, just as long as in my opinion, they are not sort of like, overblown, and they've got a clear vision. Like there's certainly some great AAAs out there as well. Ramon saying, looking very polished, not sure about the game loop. Hopefully that what I just mentioned helped you understand what that was all about a bit more. And yeah, thank you very much for the kind comments, guys. Loving to see the interactions. It's awesome. Yeah, so anything that you guys in the chat are looking forward to, hoping to see this game showcases, and are there any games in particular you would like to see re-emerge? Like I was saying earlier on, going back to that, as I've got a bit of a visual aspect for you now, with regards to Death's Store, let's go back to that for a second while VJ's popped away. Death's Store, I'll put the trailer up for you in case you haven't checked it out originally, but love to see a sequel to this game, as I love the first game so much, Death's Store, the original. But yeah, I think there's a good chance maybe Acid Nerve could be working on a sequel to this, or potentially a new game of a different kind. So this would definitely be something I would love to see shown off this game showcase season. And there's a bit of a chance they could happen. What do you reckon in the chat, guys? But yeah, it would be cool. This is one of my favorite games of the last few years for sure. Plays like a dream, this game, and the music is just so top notch. But yeah, I would love to see Death's Store 2, or like I say, another game from Acid Nerve, as they're super talented. Let's see from there. like I say, feel free to let me know any thoughts in the chat, guys, if you've got any games you're hoping to see, or any types of games or anything like that. What's the showcase you're most looking forward to? Anything like that, guys, let us know. I'll save that for when VJ comes back, and I will pop up. So yeah, I'm going to pop up a little one here, which is another one I'm hoping to see a bit more on. Maybe it's not on the cards yet, but I know Mr. Domez is looking forward to... we've got a Path of the Till Lotus on the way, but another game which has got a bit of a similar feel to that is this game that I've popped up on the screen right now, Nine Souls. This is definitely a fantastic Metroidvania game on the way right now, which I'd love to see a bit more on. I played the demo of this game and it's absolutely fantastic. If you haven't checked out this one already, I highly recommend you do so. Give it a wish list. But yeah, this has got, you know, the Hollow Knight vibes and the Metroidvania aspect to it. It's also got quite a strong Souls-like aspect, I would say, with the weight of the combat, and also the aspect of, you know, parrying and stuff like that in the game, which I think is really cool. And it's very well done, in my opinion. It feels really strong and weighty, like I say. So yeah, there is a demo on Steam of this game, Nine Souls, but yeah, very, very cool game, actually. And if you haven't checked it out already, I highly recommend checking out the demo on Steam and giving it a look. But yeah, I wasn't too sure about it before I played it, but when I played it, it's actually feels fantastic to play. And like I say, when you nail those parries and then the attacks, it feels super fluid and feels, you know, really like you're really connecting. And yeah, nicely done indeed. So I highly recommend checking it out. Like I say, Nine Souls, NESOLS. Definitely check this bad boy out. Another awesome Metroidvania on the way. We are in a amazing time for Metroidvanias, guys. So yeah, many on the way. So much to look forward to in the Metroidvania world. And like I say, Nine Souls is definitely one I'm looking forward to. I think I might have just heard VJ pop back. Is that correct?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello, sir. How you doing? I was trying to keep it going without you there. So.
Splendid.
I just popped up another Metroidvania on the screen, which is on the way, called Nine Souls. Don't know if you've heard of this one, but definitely got, you know, the Hollow Knight vibes, but it's got a strong Souls-like aspect with the parrying system, so it might be up your street potentially. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Is obviously Japanese-inspired vibes as well. Played the demo of it, really cool. But yeah, so many Metroidvanias, as I was saying, to look forward to on the agenda. But yeah, have you heard of this one at all?
I think I've seen it. Would that be right?
You could well have seen this one. Yeah, there's Bow Path of the Till Lotus, and there's this one. So they're quite similar, I suppose, with the aspect of the Japanese part of it. But this one, yeah, is called Nine Souls. I think there's more like a focus on the parry and everything like that in this one, like the Souls sort of part of things. And yeah, as opposed to, I think maybe Bow is a bit more platforming based, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It felt great to play when I played the demo, but another one on the Metroidvania list to look forward to for sure. But yeah, does it look like it might be up your street, sir?
I'm not sure. The color palette's a little strange for me, but
oh really?
But yeah, but you know, I had the same kind of you know, concerns with Hollow Knight, but that turned out fantastic. So
Yeah.
it's sometimes hard to tell just from a trailer. I would have to actually, you know, just wait until you've played it more and then reviewed it and said this is the sort of game it is, and then I'd probably just take a deep dive into it. But
yeah,
it's definitely something I think I'd enjoy. It's just that when I saw Gumbrella, I really like the look of that.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
That had me straight away. But as I said, you know, I went through the gameplay mechanics in this game look really, really cool. But this is not a Metroidvania. Is this a Metroidvania type game?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, I like the parry aspect to this one, and it feels really punchy and weighty when I played it. So I did really enjoy that.
When you say the parry, is it similar to the game you just played, The Last Case of Benedict Fox, or?
No, definitely not. I would say Yeah, that one's more just for parrying and like deflecting more. I think you use it in that one. This one, it's more about the timing based sort of. You really sort of feel the weight of the block and stuff, and it pushes them back. You know what I mean? It's more like it feels like in like Sekiro or something like that, but it's not quite as hard to pull off, if you see what I mean.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, that would also be a thing. If it's not that difficult to pull off, then I think it might just be up my street. I just
Yeah.
need to see a bit more. That's all.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Definitely. I think you'd like it actually. Yeah.
It does look it's impressive. The production values are really impressive, though, Indy.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and most definitely, yes. But looking at a really cool one in my opinion, definitely worth keeping an eye on for sure. Be cool to see that one re-emerge for sure. Some great comments coming through again. Mr. Gomez saying about PC Gamer and or Xbox wherever Silksong could show up. Also interested in others, but yeah, Silksong. I think it sounds a bit like you, VJ. That's you in the chat, isn't it? You're not alter ego.
Another confirm or deny.
You just want wherever Silksong is, just like Mr. Gomez, to get that Silksong goodness. Do you guys think they will see Silksong then, an update? Or is it just because they've come out and said it now and we probably won't see it for a while? What do you think, VJ, sir?
Is that a question to me, or is that?
Yeah, that's to you actually, as well as the chat. I'll be interested. Do you think this showcase season there is any chance of it showing up, or do you think
if we don't see it, then it tells you that it's a little bit? Perhaps you could infer that it's a little further away, but then again, because if the content is pretty much near complete and they're polishing it, and because obviously they've got to take in consideration the types of games that are going to play it, like speedrunners, etc. I'm sure, and testing and whatnot. Then I don't see why they wouldn't. They don't have to announce the date, but they could release another trailer. But then again, I'm not the Hollow Knight community, right? Even though I love the game, is that do people want to see more, or do they not because they don't want it spoiled, and so on and so forth. So it's a lot to sort of take into consideration. And if they do show something, then perhaps they're opening up the door, like a death's door, basically to say, hey, look, the game's not that far away. And so I think that we might, really depends on how much Xbox push, because they've already seemed to have a little bit of egg on their face, and how much Team Cherry say just chill and relax, we'll give it to you when we're ready, and we're not ready, or we are ready. So it'll really just depend. But I think the most important thing is that the question will be, it didn't show, what that throws up, and not that it should throw anything up, because people should just let it alone, really, which I'm learning slowly but surely, or should they show something? And I think it just really speaks to as to how, I know it's only their second game, right? How they go about approaching consumers and the mass market, because I think they're kind of focused, and they're very relaxed, right? Those guys, like the Devolver guys. So yeah, how many trailers did they put out? One about 4 years ago, right? When Nintendo was showing,
just two trailers for it.
When they did the announcement, Xbox.
Well, two trailers and the extended gameplay look.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah,
of the treehouse. Yeah, so that's all. But yeah, I can't really see. I don't want to be negative, but
I guess the question for you, Indy, is how much more do you want to see, or should be said, or should be announced prior to launch, or should the next trailer just be, hey, look, this is when we're launching, here's a new trailer, look, pre-order now. So I guess you as a part of the community, and far more than I am, in terms of what do you think should be the next step?
To be honest, I can't really see a lot now, because they've said that. I think that might mean we're waiting until pretty much the run up to release. So it depends on how far they are actually from release, if you see what I mean.
Yep.
So I think if we're anywhere near release, then we might get some more. But if we're looking at next year for release, I don't think we'll see anything for a while.
Yeah. So I'm at the point where now I don't need to see any more.
Yeah, me either. Yeah.
Personally, and for me, it's the next trailer. All it needs to be is, hey, look, here's a trailer. This is when it's out, or it's out this quarter. So get ready. and then it's up to whatever deal they've got in place with Xbox, because I don't think Xbox or Game Pass have just given them money and say, yeah, deliver it when you want. It's like, hey, look, because you're in Game Pass, this is how the lead up to the game needs to look like for us in order to promote it and get it out, get our subscriber base and all that up and all that good stuff, right? Because obviously there's an Xbox Game Pass component to this, right? In terms, they haven't just got it to fill it as a filler title, have they? They've got it in to try and scale up their subscription. So it'll be whatever they've agreed in tandem with Xbox as well. I think they're probably going to have a part to play or influence, etc. In terms of the game. Maybe they don't. I really don't know. But you'd think that they probably would have negotiated something like that within, in terms of marketing rights, etc. with the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, what was the update say? It was just basically we need more time, didn't it? And that was like a month ago.
The game is bigger than we thought. Yeah. Or it's become larger than originally conceived, etc.
Yeah, basically. Exactly. So that, if you put that out there about a month ago, whatever it was, that's probably just buying yourself quite a bit of time to maybe not do anything, I would say. But although sometimes you see that and then you see them still post something as a trailer, don't you? But then that's more on bigger games.
I think they said something because to help Xbox Game Pass keep face, as the priority.
Yeah. I personally, I don't think we'll see anything this showcase season from Silksong, unfortunately. But that would mean it's going to be quite far off, though. Still, doesn't it? Unfortunately, as well.
It depends. It depends, Indy, because I think, look, we're not that far away, right? I think if they're ready, they'll show it and set a release date. If not, then we'll just have to wait. And it also depends on what other announcement Game Pass has, because I think it's a big game. I don't know. Do you feel it's a big game for Game Pass?
Oh, massive game. Yeah, 100%.
Then it'll have its own unique window, I would say.
Yeah.
Promotion.
Oh, do you mean? Do I think it's a big game from their point of view, or do you mean from?
Well, obviously for Team Cherry, but for Xbox and specifically Game Pass, yeah.
Depends on how they treat it, isn't it? But they should. I think they do know, because they put it second in the showcase, didn't they? So they probably do know it's massive. Xbox, that is. Yeah. So
my goodness, we're in real trouble if they don't.
Yeah, give a slap for that. Definitely. But yeah, no, if we don't see it this season, no worries. But hopefully it's not too far off. If they've said they're on, they're getting there. I think we're a bit off still, but we're not crazily off, unfortunately. Yeah, fortunately, but that bit at the end. But unfortunately, we're not right there yet. But it's all good. Like I always say, there's so many games, and I always say, don't pin your hopes on one game, and that's to Stubbs, by the way. Gears.
Yeah, no, I mean, Indy, I'm assuming that the development team is still very small, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
And in that sense, if the game is, let's assume 50% or twice as big, then all of the choices, all of the subtle changes have got to filter through just two guys, basically, right? The two gentlemen that lead the studio, right? They everything has to go through them. It's not as if they've got someone who's head of gameplay, head of music, head of VFX, head of level design, game design, character design, anime. It's pretty much those two guys and a couple of others, right? For the music and for the programming.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you think about it, if most studios for large games have QA testing, loads of stuff, right? Loads of departments and divisions, and I'm sure they have more help this time around, but still I think that it's far more of a hands-on approach, and you've got to pace yourself when you're making a game like that. You can't just go full throttle 24 you'll burn yourself out. So I think that's why this game is taking longer, because it's a marathon, not a sprint for these guys, because otherwise they're not going to survive to be able to make a second game. They'll fatigue themselves out. So I can understand why it's taking a lot longer than we anticipate, than we would like, but it's just the makeup of their studio and why we love what they produce, because every inch of Hollow Knight was perfect almost.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it.
Or
Yeah.
perfect for me. I'm just speaking for
Oh
myself,
no,
obviously.
definitely it was for me as well. Yeah, as you know, and I'm sure a lot of people. Yeah. But yeah, Mr. Domez, as you probably saw in his comment earlier, actually I forgot to read that one out, but he said he played 150 hours, I think it was, and he incredibly done at the 112%, which is no mean feat, as we both know.
I only did 108. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Well, those last those Pantheons are tough, aren't they? So that's
They're
basically
probably yeah.
that's basically what it
The
is. Those
yeah, if I
percentages.
was going to do the Pantheons, I would have done it after the Grim Troop because
Yeah,
the Grim Troop is tough. But I thought
yeah,
if I leave this for a week, it's going to
exactly.
Pantheons. I'm going to be out of sync. So
Yeah,
I I was just so glad I got through the Grim Troop because that was tough.
yeah.
That part.
Exactly, that's the thing. I mean, that's. I thought I'll come back for it, but now and I'm thinking, oh god, I'll have to really train up again to get back to the level to finish off those last few percentages. But you know, maybe I'll have a pop at it sometime.
Did you enjoy the Grim Troop DLC?
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I'd like the DLC. I mean, I like the God Home and everything, but you know, I didn't really. At the time, I'd been really pushing to get all the other percent, and then when I got to sort of like doing the Pantheon, it was a bit like, I don't know if I've got enough left, you know what I mean, to carry on pushing. So it was a bit like, come back to it, and then I probably shouldn't have done that, but yeah.
I just saw the comment from Mr. Domez. Team Cherry can take all the time they need. Just don't have Microsoft or anyone else
Yeah,
promise crap. You've got two. You see what you've got there. You've got two parties with different agendas. Is that
exactly.
one is trying to craft a product, a personal story, and deliver on a schedule that suits them health-wise as well as mentally. You know, to remain sane. And the other company is trying to sell hardware and push for subscribers, and they're doing that by selling you future promise, but they're doing it at the behest of a company that they have no control over, which is the way it should be, given that Team Cherry is an independent company and
Yep.
it should remain. So you've got two different agendas going on there, and so I can
Exactly.
understand where you're coming from, but as long as people understand why it is the way it is, rather than just calling it out, I think it's quite important.
Yeah. I think that was probably like almost part of the problem, wasn't it? Last time when Silk Song and stuff was taken out, like the Xbox started speaking for Team Cherry a bit on that, didn't they? I think, but because Team Cherry never came forward and said, we're going to be out within a year as well. So like I think that's what Mr. Dumez is getting at there.
When an executive comes out and says that, right? I think it was Sarah Bond, right, who said it, right? It's that. When you go up and you're saying stuff like that, you don't know what you're doing. You're showing, you're embarrassing. You're not just embarrassing yourself. You're not. If you're going to come out and say something like that, ask all the questions you need to ask prior to that. But if you were given guarantees, I'll hold my hands up and said, fine, you know what, you were given a guarantee. But in game development, you of all people should know there are no guarantees, even if someone guarantees you something. So all round poor show from Xbox for coming out and saying that, right?
Exactly.
Because you shouldn't hold that position if you're going to come out and say stuff like that, because you're showing your immaturity in the sense that you don't have the experience of working in the game industry long enough to realize what you're saying that may come back and bite you in the backside.
Yep, exactly. They said in response, I understand, yet people were explicitly asking if that includes Silk Song, and Xbox official replied, yes, that's what we said.
Then you've got all the answers you need, Mr. Domez, of the current status of how publishers operate and how quickly they can have egg on their face, especially experienced ones, which shouldn't happen because game development is very, 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 very unpredictable. Ask the guys that are creating Halibut, slow bros.
Yeah, no, he's smarter than that, Mr. Thomas. He never bought it and wasn't surprised. But yeah, no, I totally get where you're coming from, because like they're just replying in that because sort of to save face a bit, aren't they? Trying to think in the like, yeah, let's just go with that. Yeah, like hopefully it will come out. I bet, like, you know what I mean? And they're not really asking Team Cherry and verifying it because they wouldn't have even known anyway. To be honest with you, probably not. But that's the thing, like it's not something you can promise at that point, and Team Cherry are not the kind of a developer who would ever say it's ready until it's ready, basically. So
No, they delivered Hollow Knight as promised, right? I'm assuming, or pretty much, right? So they earned the right to create the game that they really wanted to create with Silksong. I totally get it, and it's a chance in a lifetime. perhaps in several lifetimes, to be able to have the money to craft to have the ability to craft what you want, and have the time and the resource as well to create what you want, and not be concerned about what the hardware format is, what the publisher's requirements are. So that's why the deal between the two of them is difficult to work out, because you can see where the strengths and who's got the say so, because of what's actually happening, which makes it even more interesting. But that's just from a publishing perspective, not from a consumer perspective, because consumers want to buy and play the game, and most are happy to wait. And as I say, that the developers earned the right to do so, and Microsoft are paying the money to have it on their system. Why? Because they think it will propel their subscription, retain subscribers, and propel the number that subscribe to their service up the ladder, right, in a forward or upward trajectory. So that's the fundamentals of it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like, just to follow his final one, not blaming Cherry at all. They can take all the time they need, basically, Mr. Domesh says. Yeah, no, totally. And I get the feeling that the actual deal between Xbox and Team Cherry was probably quite a reluctant one on Team Cherry's part, but they just probably thought, let's just take it. I don't know whether I have a feeling that they would have thought they wouldn't have just taken that easily. I think they would have initially probably thought to themselves, we wouldn't take a deal like that, and maybe they were just they had to sort of go for it in the end, because they thought it was too good of a deal. You know what I mean?
There's always a number. There's always a number.
Yeah.
And if they've been afforded the control over the property while it's in Game Pass, then I don't think there'd be an issue. They'd be silly not to take it. If that makes sense.
I bet it was something like, though, they didn't want to lose any of the control, any of the artistry that they can, full control over the creative vision, everything like that. That would be something that they had to be promised. I bet that was a discussion that they would have had if we're not giving up any of that. And like, they were probably quite reluctant, but if they promised from Xbox, we're like, yeah, don't worry, we give you complete freedom, everything you want, and we won't mess with that. And then this is probably just that little comment thing, is they were probably sitting there thinking that was a bit naughty of them, but they just get away with that. You know what I mean? I bet anything. I might be completely wrong, but it feels like that's what it would be like. Team Cherry don't probably want that too much going on, and they didn't want to lose any of the creative vision, but the deal was too good, and they probably were told, we'll give you the full creative freedom. I imagine that's what happened. That's just my thoughts, but
I think what you're saying is exactly how it's playing out right now. And we'll know more in a few days, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, good convo, good stuff. I just want to mention one other game, and then we'll probably wind things up there because it's been going a while. But there was one thing, Mr. Blue Moon FC in the house. Thank you very much for being here, my friend. Thank you so much for the kind words for saying about the show. Really appreciate you. But I know you just mentioned about last night. That is one game I had on my list, funnily enough. That's why I said funny you should say that. And so that game, I don't know if VJ remembers this, but it was announced in, I think, 2017, I think it was, on the Xbox Showcase. Quite a long time ago. But yeah, this was one that was on my list that I would love to see re-emerge. Let's pop this bad boy up so you can remind you guys if you have forgotten about what this game looks like. But yeah, this one looked absolutely stunning back in 2017. They've had some issues with development along the way, but apparently they're back on track. But yeah, just looks stunning, cyberpunk sort of world, but like just done in a really unique way, kind of like sort of pixel art, but it's sort of 3D environment, 2D plane, amazing lighting, very cinematic, very clever, beautiful looking game from Tim Saray and his team Odd Tales. I don't know if they've changed their names since the mess up, whatever happened there with developer, whether something went down, but anyway, yeah, like the actual artistry and the creative vision on this game is stunning, and yeah, I would love to see it back on track. I think a lot of people would like to see this one return. And like I know Mr. Blue Moon FC was saying in the chat that he would love to see it return, so that was cool that you mentioned that, because it was just on my list there, just about to get to it. But yeah, do you remember this one at all, VJ?
I don't. I thought it was Backbone for a minute, but then...
Oh yeah, so that has a bit of a sort of pixel art sort of vibe, doesn't it, as well? Similar, yeah.
It just looks like a level above.
Yeah, this is proper stuff, and yeah, it's one in a sense where it's just...
So what's happened to this game since 2017?
There was a bit of a issue like politically or something. I can't even remember what it was now, but the developer got into a bit of a discussion which didn't sit very well with some people. Probably shouldn't have maybe spoke about it or something. I can't even remember what the discussion was over, so I'm very vague on it. But I think they may have lost their publisher over it, I think, at the time, and then maybe they were trying to get another publisher, and they lost funding and things like that. So yeah, it was a bit of a went off the rails a little bit, but they were still developing and everything. They continued, but yeah, pretty sure it's back on track now. But it's, I mean, the Discord, they are like still making the game and everything, still being proceeding, but just they had a bit of a rough time for about probably a year or something where it was all over the place. But yeah, apparently back on track now. So I mean, now could be a good time for it to re-emerge, I think, if they have been having a smooth ride lately. Hopefully they haven't had any other issues, but yeah.
Is that Luke asleep in that caravan?
Is that what, sorry?
So there's a shot of a guy turning in his bed.
Yeah.
I thought it might be Luke in bed.
Yeah, that's his flat, yeah. Oh, yeah. Living the high life. That's live footage, actually.
Oh dear. I can see why you got the camera pixelated slightly.
Yeah, that's just to blur him out. But yeah, as you can see, like the depth in the environments and lighting and everything is so spot on. It just, do you like what you see, or?
Yeah, look, I mean, the premise and everything, and the visuals, are outstanding. I just, not to sort of be too forward, but I'd love to know what the game is about and what the gameplay is, and if it's, because that aspect of it is just as important as what we're seeing so far. So
yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, there's a lot of companies out there that produce incredible visuals, but actually producing an interactive game with those visuals is not easy. It's very, very difficult, and there are many games we don't know about fall by the wayside. So it's an interesting one. I can't speak too much on it, but if they've managed to sort out what their challenges are, because every game has their challenge, and if all their challenge is just sorting out funding or management or whatever, then and Raw Fury, I think you've mentioned a few times, as a good publisher, then perhaps it might make a return at some point during the next couple of weeks. We can
that might be the publisher they lost, though. That's the only thing. So but I think I'm not too sure about that, the full politics behind it. So well, I remember reading it at the time, though, and it was stupid, and there was nothing the developer really had done badly, that he hadn't done anything wrong really, but it just should have maybe not got it involved in public in a situation that was, not related, I suppose, if you know what I mean. It wasn't.
I don't know. That's Luke there jumping in the taxi to make the show.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, I don't think. There's a good question in the chat asking from Mr. Domez. We would love to answer your question, as you've been so kind and also such a supportive person. Which platform is the best for indies at the moment? Do you have a take on that, VJ?
I think that if you like a specific game, you just go and play it where you can afford to go and play it. I mean, I own a Switch. I bought it in 2017. I played Zelda, Mario, and 6 years later, I'm picking up Breath of the Wild. And because I can't play it anywhere else. And then I don't own a PC, and then I'll play on Xbox predominantly. And but Spider-Man and Ratchet and Clank and The Last of Us, etc., I play on the PlayStation. So for me, it's just access points, where the developer, publisher, platform holder, the negotiations that go on, where the content arrives. It's out of my control. So I just access the content from access points that I'm able to access. There's a lot of accesses there.
There's a lot of access. But where would you play indies the most, do you reckon? Is it just
where do I play indies? It's probably on Xbox.
On Xbox, because through Game Pass and that.
It's not predominantly. On Game Pass I play there. But my nephew, he plays all sorts of indies on he's a PC gamer like you, so he's on Steam. He plays World of Warcraft, League of Legends, then he plays all sorts of strange games. And he's the one who brought up Dredge.
Oh yeah, nice. It's a cool game, yeah.
And I said at $25, I said that in an indie game, it's got to be at least $1.99. He said, no, inflation, dude. You got to get up with the times. Yeah,
That's
things
good.
have
He
gone up.
sounds like a
Oh,
legend.
okay then.
Sounds good.
I said, have you heard of a game called Hollow Knight? He said, yeah. I said, have you played it? No. And I said, yeah, you're not really a gamer, are you?
Missing out.
He's just one of those. He's just one of those. And,
Yeah,
he goes,
yeah.
one of what? I was just one of those, aren't you? Just one of those that talks a lot and no substance.
Needs to get on the Hollow Knight train for sure. But yeah. I mean, for me, obviously, I would say this,
I hope he's
but
not listening.
yeah, that'd be funny. For me, it's definitely. I obviously think Steam and PC is the place to be for indies, as there is an incredible. Vast amount of them, and you get some real because sometimes you'll find that games will come to Steam first and you'll get that true indie experience with some games which don't even make it to sort of console and stuff. It's great to see when they do and more people can enjoy them and all that sort of thing, but sometimes like I say, you'll get those indies that don't quite make it that far, and it's a shame, obviously, but if they do well on Steam, sometimes then they'll get rolled out to other platforms and stuff. But I think Steam is definitely an amazing place for indies, because they can you'll always hear this as well with developers I've spoken to. They always find it easiest to get their game out to Steam, and if they then are successful, then they can get it onto Xbox and stuff. And and the thing is as well is because they always say it's hard for going through all the checks or whatever. You know about this sort of thing, VJ, of course.
I mean, basically, if you try to get hold of Microsoft and say, hey, I need a dev kit to release a game, you're going to be going around in circles for a very, 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 very long time. So if you're on Steam and your game's out and people have played it and people enjoy it, getting in touch with asking someone at Steam, or getting in or sending an email to Steam and saying, to Xbox and saying, hey, look, this is us, this is our website, this is our game, it's on this format, we want to make, you'll get a phone call within a few days. But it's almost like a filtration system, right? The first, it's like a gating system. The Steam is your first, Steam or whatever other format platforms there are. Hey, if you're on there, we'll probably speak to you if it's a game we want. But I don't know. I remember in the UK is that when you wanted developers had no issue because Sony was the market leader. They couldn't refuse you development status. I don't know what it's like in the US, but once you got it in the UK, your publisher status or developer status in America and Japan and Asia was pretty much automatic.
Right.
So because they were a market leader, because of the laws in the EU, they couldn't deny you. I don't know the laws in the US, and I don't know because Xbox not the market leader, they can refuse content coming onto their hardware in Europe. That used to be the laws about 10 years ago. So I don't know what they are now.
Yep.
So if you think about it, right, Steam, it's a gating system, right, probably for Xbox to a degree.
Yeah.
Right? To a degree. Yeah.
I know what you mean. So you basically can get anything on Steam, can't you? If you can release anything you want on there, but with Xbox, they're not always going to get through, and it's a much trickier sort of. You have to jump through hoops to get it on there, basically.
I just wanted to mention, that trailer you were showing for the last night when Luke jumped in the back of the taxi. Just for the people in the chat, I just want you to all know that that is not a stunt double. Luke performs all his own stunts, and not to try that at home.
Lovely. I'm sure that's needing some clarification, so I'm glad you did. But yeah, great insight on the old development and obviously getting your games and all that side of things onto platforms. But yeah, also obviously I just want to clarify as well.
The only reason is because they don't have hundreds and hundreds of account managers, right?
No, exactly.
Dozens of studios and publishers are appointed to a single account manager, and they're crazy busy, and majority of the time they're in meetings, and the only time they actually get to speak to you is either in the morning or in the afternoon, or if you send them an email. That's just how it is. It's very difficult.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's like localization and all that classification or whatever it is, to go through it is much more extensive, isn't it, as well? But yeah, Steam is a very open platform, isn't it, that you can get your content onto. But yeah, the other side of things as well, I just want to mention as well, Steam is amazing. Obviously, it's in very vast library. It's got amazing titles on there. It's amazing for indie games. But also, I just want to mention as well, of course, there are other platforms in it. It's where, like VJ was saying earlier, wherever you've got the console, whatever you've got, there are indies on all. So don't feel like I'm just saying everything else is crap. And I especially give a shout out to, Xbox Game Pass and stuff is doing a good job of showcasing some great indies on there, giving them the limelight. And PlayStation, everyone's got their indies. I mean, PlayStation could do a little bit better. I mean, it's good to see PlayStation putting out indies on the actual main show of their show recently. And let me just get rid of that, whatever that is on the screen. Sorry, guys. Like I say, Switch is obviously very good for indies, and there's a vast amount of them on there. And wherever you can get your indie goodness is a good platform, really. But if you want the vast library that Steam has, I highly recommend it if you're ever considering jumping onto the PC world. I've not looked back since I did. I was Xbox for many years, but then tried PC, and now, if you love indies, it's really awesome place to be, guys. But like I say, anywhere is good as long as you're getting your indie goodness. But yes, what was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to say now. I was going to say something a minute ago. I can't remember what it was.
Good night and God bless.
Yeah, probably was that. I was sure there was one other thing I was just going to say before we signed off, but pretty sure I've forgotten it. Let's see. Yeah, there's some great comments. I mean, coming in just to wind up with those. Mr. Dom is saying, bought the new Switch, anticipating a certain game last year. Certain game, wonder what that was. Thimba coming through is saying, wanted to get Dredge, but it's a bit expensive in my country. So I wonder what country that is. And Ramon saying both Steam and Switch are indie dev friendly. Yeah, both are, I suppose. Yeah, you got a lot of indies on Switch, but I still imagine it'll be easier to get on Steam. And Marvelero, I've played plenty of indies on my Xbox Series S. It's awesome. Dredge was the last one I played. Yeah, absolutely. Like I was saying, you get them anywhere. And Marvello is also saying Steam is so great for indies. So loving the love of all platforms out here, guys. It's fantastic to see. But yeah, I think we should probably wind things up there. Let me just double check if I've missed anything off my list here. We've done a pretty amazing job of covering a lot of games. I hope you've enjoyed seeing what we've covered tonight, guys. We've had a long show, but with VJ and myself on Who Can Talk for England and America now. VJ is in America, but we're both English. But yeah, we can talk, that's for sure. But I hope that's not been too much talking for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed the show today. It's certainly been awesome hanging out with VJ. No Luke today, but it was still awesome fun for sure with VJ on. What a special time. What an awesome special guest. Thank you so much for joining me today, VJ. It's been a pleasure. I always love chatting with you, buddy. Always bring some good fun jokes and fun to the show, as well as the amazing takes. So yeah, would you like to shout out where they can find you, or just sign off at all, my friend?
No, the only thing I wanted to say was thanks for having me on the show. I don't get invited on many shows, and I always enjoy coming onto your show. It's a lot of fun, and the most important thing is that I just get educated a lot in terms of indie games, and even before these events have occurred, I've already seen a few gems that I really want to play. So you have done your job well,
sweet.
Sir. So,
that's great to hear.
So thanks for that. And now I just hope that I forget all of them, because otherwise this is all I'll be thinking about now.
Yeah.
Like I'd like to go and have a look up the trailer for Bo, the game you mentioned as
definitely.
well. So
yeah,
but thanks for having me on. It's been really great.
Oh, good stuff, buddy. No, it's been amazing talking to you as always. So yeah, we'll have to have a chat and see if there's any gaps in your diary for getting on for the actual live reaction shows that we'll be doing. See if you fancied any of that, but we'll have a chat about that offline. And sounds good.
I know you've got loads and loads of people that can come on. So yeah, if anytime you need me, I'm more than happy to chime in.
No, that sounds great, buddy. Well, you're always on the priority list, VIPs. So, but yeah, no, thank you so much for being part of it today, VJ. It was awesome hanging out with you. And
it needs a ham sandwich and a bottle of shampoo.
Ham sandwich. A hot dog was serving well. We should swap countries, maybe. As you guys might not know, VJ is not in the UK. He lives out in the States. So that's why I'm saying that, if you didn't know. He doesn't sound like he lives out there. That's why. I say as well. But yeah, no, massive shout out to the legendary chat today. It's been such a great chat we've had in. We've had some great names, and then we got a Marvelero in. Thank you so much for coming by, my friend. Great to have you, and we're bringing some great takes. Dragon Wolf as well. Great to see you back in, my friend. Always a pleasure. Thank you for being here. We've got Thimber in the house. Great to have you, my friend. Thank you as well for coming by. We've had Ramon, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Thank you so much for coming by today. It's been awesome. Once again, the VIP in the chat, Mr. Domez, thank you very much for your support on the channel lately, my friend. Again, and thank you for the kind super chat. You are awesome. Who else have we had in? Stubbs Gaming came in earlier. I don't know if he's still lingering around. He's probably fallen asleep, hasn't he, VJ? You probably attest to that. So yeah, thanks for coming by, Stubbsy baby. We had UK Dazarus in earlier as well. We had who did we have else? We had G Ray, and Back from the Dead, A Friendly Pest. Lots of people coming through today. We had Lady Foxfire. We had Web Dave in the house, who I'll be doing a little cheeky show of him on his channel actually coming up. So thanks for the invite on that. That was very kind of him to invite me for a one-on-one. But yeah, everyone else who's come by. Blue Moon FC, did I miss you? I don't know if I did. If I did, I apologize because you're a legend. Thank you so much for coming by, Blue Moon, as well. But yeah, we've had so many great people in. It's been awesome getting the hype train started for Game Showcase season. Thank you so much all for being part of this show. I love this time of year. Cannot wait to soak it all up with you guys. Like I say, we'll be doing live reactions on the channel. Feel free to follow me on Twitter to know when that's going to be. Indie_gamer_01 is where I'll be on Twitter. The links are in the description below, by the way, if you prefer, that's easier. And Discord link as well. If you want to join the Discord, feel free to do so. Hit that like button, that means the world. And yeah, if you love your indie goodness, don't feel free to subscribe as well, because that would be amazing. We're trying to grow the channel as much as possible to get together an awesome positive community of indie game fans. So there has definitely been that in the chat today, so it's amazing to see. Thank you so much for the support, guys. Thank you so much once again to VJ, and yes, we will catch you again with some live reaction goodness for probably Day of the Devs is the first one, then Devolver, Future Game Show, all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, thanks again, guys. We are going to sign off there, and enjoy your gaming, enjoy your indie games, and we'll catch you again soon. Later, guys.